always live on the free Odyssey app.
Making the election official. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. A joint session of Congress being gabbled to order to certify the results of the Electoral College vote.
The last time the two chambers of Congress met to perform this task was in 2021, the day in which a mob infamously entered the Capitol and interrupted the proceedings. Capitol Police say they're prepared this year with increased security measures both at the U.S. Capitol complex and elsewhere around Washington.
Fox's Evan Brown, as the president of the Senate, Vice President Harris is presiding over the session that will cement her defeat in November's election. Canada is headed for new elections. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing he will step down as soon as his replacement is chosen.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Prime Minister since 2015, Trudeau's popularity has been eroding amid turmoil within his own party. President Biden is headed to New Orleans this afternoon. He'll meet with some of the family members of the 14 people killed in the New Year's terror attack. The president throwing a wrench into President-elect Trump's plans to drill for more domestic fossil fuel, issuing an executive order to ban offshore drilling in 625 million acres of federal waters.
President Biden says his decision reflects what coastal communities, businesses, and beachgoers have long known, that drilling could cause irreversible damage to places held dear. The move also could limit expanding drilling by the incoming Trump administration. Unwinding the order would require an act of Congress.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Incoming White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt calls it retribution.
This decision, the intent behind it, is to exact political revenge on the American people and on President Trump.
Wall Street, the Dow is up 158 points. NASDAQ ahead 266. America is listening to Fox News.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed. Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a bundle up Monday afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, a few wandering snow flurries. Windy and cold, 25. The wind chills feels like the single numbers all afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. The winds quickly go light and the temperatures tumble. Very cold, 8 degrees. Tuesday, sunny, light winds and cold, 25. 6 Tuesday night, 22 and sunny on Wednesday, 29 and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Every year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many result in serious injury. The majority of falls happen at home, so take a look around. Replace bulbs and add lighting to help you see obstacles. Remove things that can make you trip. Fix uneven steps and floors, and install handrails in bathrooms and on stairs. Consider balance or strength training exercises, which can help with agility. Get your eyes and hearing checked regularly. Changes in your hearing can affect your balance. To learn more, please talk to your doctor about steps you can take to help prevent a fall. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Yes, it's January 6th, and you know what that means. It's time to have a congressional certification of those 2024 election results. Annie, back here in studio with Ryan and Brad, but we're going to go directly to the House floor as Vice President Kamala Harris gets ready to certify Donald Trump as the next president of the United States.
Mr. Speaker and members of Congress, pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Senate and House of Representatives are meeting in joint session to verify the certificates and count the votes of the electors of the several states for President and Vice President of the United States. After ascertainment has been had that the certificates are authentic and correct in form, the tellers will count and make a list of the votes cast by the electors of the several states. The tellers on the part of the 2 houses will take their places at the clerk's desk.
So we've been listening to Vice President Kamala Harris as she is setting the table for the certification of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's election victory. She's standing at the front of the House floor. This looks like what it looks like for the State of the Union, where you see the Vice President and you see the Speaker of the House sitting behind where traditionally the President would speak at the State of the Union. And it's a reminder regarding the State of the Union that the President is always invited by the Speaker of the House to deliver that speech to the people who are represented by joint Congress. This is the only other time, other than an address to Congress through the State of the Union, or generally speaking, if Donald Trump is to give one here at the beginning of his term. It's not really a State of the Union because he just kind of got a hold of the Union. Do we have more? Should we go to? All right, Brad, let's go ahead and listen.
The tellers will announce the votes cast by the electors for each state, beginning with Alabama. Senator Fisher.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Alabama seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 9 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 9 votes for vice president.
So Alabama speaking now, and Ryan, it might be
All right, so again,
the easiest thing to just let that ride. But even Brett Baer, I tried to get in there before he did. But even Brett Baer is like, you've heard it.
Yeah.
Now we got to do this a bunch more times.
49 more times.
Yeah. And then it's official. Donald Trump is the president-elect. The results of this election are certified.
I just think it's great that in this great union of ours that Alabama goes first, because regardless, you're going to have a Republican get those first votes.
Yeah, well, unless they're a Senate seat to replace Jeff Sessions.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, this is wild. I'm back from vacation, first day back since the 23rd of December. Had a wonderful time off with my family. It's my favorite time of year. These couple weeks surrounding Christmas. My husband's a teacher, as we've talked about many times before, so he's off, and we really just use it as an opportunity to lean into family and spending time together and enjoying this time together. But the whole time I was gone, I was thinking about, man, day one, when I get back, it's January 6th. And the phrase January 6th has meant something, quite different in the last 4 years, post January 6th, 2021. But we have been able to look back on that day, get a little bit more information, not enough information, on what actually unfolded that day. And all of that was kind of a cloud that existed over the name Donald Trump, anybody who supported Donald Trump. And that was very intentional. That was very purposeful. That was constructed for one sole purpose: to make sure that Donald Trump never becomes a president of the United States again. And here we are, January 6th of 2025. And Donald Trump is being certified as the, I'm going to just say it, landslide victor of the 2024 presidential election. We appreciate you being with us here today. I'm very excited about our 1225 guest. So in about 15 minutes from now, we are going to invite onto the show the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Chairman Michael Whatley, is going to join us. I've never spoken with him before, so I'm excited to see what he, okay, good job, 2 thumbs up, got the president reelected, and, high fives all around, but the real work actually has to start now. And the truth of the matter is that, as much as I hate to say this, we're 2 years away from a midterm election where Donald Trump either needs to race for the next 6 months, 100 days, 6 months, however long it is until people go full on midterm election mode. We need to grow a Republican majority in the House. That's not historically likely at all. You get about 2 years to get done what you can get done. And Donald Trump definitely has his work cut out for him. But I've been excited this whole Christmas break, being able to spend time with my family. I enjoyed every minute of it. But I have to say, I never once was feeling super bummed at the thought of coming back to work. In 2020, going into 2021, I was probably, I don't know if I was depressed, but I would tell you that I was lost. Like, how do I do this? The people who listen to my show, in large part, support Donald Trump. And how do I go onto the air every day and remind people to, continue to have hope, to be able to analyze what's going on and say, we've had a bad day. But when Joe Biden, you remember, all of the things that were being announced in between the election and his inauguration, Ryan, over and over and over again, this appointment, that appointment, this appointment, that appointment, just like we've heard with Donald Trump. But all we ever heard about from the appointees was like how it was historical and some sort of demographical DEI lottery that the Biden administration knew that they were going to win.
Yeah, they're all deep state people. I mean, these are people that are lifelong government people, which is why they didn't make as big a news in 2021 going into the Biden term, because they were all, A, names you didn't know, and B, just more of the same.
I significantly feel like the people who Joe Biden surrounded himself with, I saw an image on X yesterday, maybe it was even last night, and it showed, how you get the presidential chart. And it's kind of crazy to see all the presidents that have ever been in charge of the United States. There's really so few of them.
Mm-hmm.
There are what we've had. Well, I guess there's 40. I mean, he's 45 and 47, but he was a president before, and Cleveland was a president before. So have we had 45 different people be president? Is that right?
That's my math would suggest. Yeah, 45.
Math. So we've had 45 people in the history of this country become the president of the United States-ish. That's not very many people. And to think that Donald Trump has been able to come back and do what he's done is absolutely, it's breathtaking, really, to have rode this roller coaster forever. It is the biggest political comeback that this country has ever seen. But I challenge you to think, what if in 2028 Joe Biden comes back and wins?
That's all I think about. I'm scared to death of this man. You see this guy and you're like,
what? You can't tell me that wouldn't be the biggest political comeback in the history of time.
Well, it wouldn't.
Biden 2028.
Now, if they started trying to prosecute him, then it would be. If they took shots at him,
could be on
then
the
it
table.
would be.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could see to it. Might actually be legitimate.
No, I mean, in all reality, though, I'm really, really afraid of a Biden second term.
Well, I just, it's kind of, it's funny because there's no way that something like that happens. But you do have to ask yourself, and this is something that we all need to be very mindful of. We could have a second Biden term and never know who's been pulling the strings this time. That could come back in 2028 and do the same thing. We could have a second Biden term. You just need to have another willful puppet who will go in there and who wants, that's what you got to ask yourself. Why was he so willing, and why were the people around him? I'm no Joe Biden fan. Kind of a fan of her red suit on Election Day. Just going to leave that out there. But why would Joe Biden and the people around him so willfully participate in what took place in the last 4 years? Because this was not the Biden agenda. Biden's agenda is whatever he needs the agenda to be in order for him to retain or gain or grow power. And that's the secret sauce of the Democrat Party. There are people, and this is not something that the Republican Party doesn't know or understand, but the Democratic Party has taken it to lengths that the Republican Party has not yet been able to achieve if they've attempted to do so. And they have attempted to do so. I think when you see a lot of the, deep stater candidates that come in and they strut in like maybe they just are going to inherit the whole thing because that's just the way the system works. And the American people that supported the Republican Party said that is not how the system is going to work anymore. The Democratic Party, they just need to find the willful stooge that is willing to be the face of whatever they say, this is what you're going to do. And as soon as they are no longer the willful stooge, they kick them to the curb as fast as they can. I cannot wait for the books to come out about what took place in this Biden administration. Joe Biden he has no remarkable achievement that I can think of. Not a single one.
No, you'd say even the most recognizable moments of the Biden presidency have all been failures, and not just for America, like in Afghanistan, for instance, but for Democrats. Like the debate is a defining moment of his presidency, and that is not for America, but that is a absolute, well, you know what, in a sense, it is terrible for America because you got to see on full display what the last 4 years have been like behind the scenes right there out in front of you.
As Kamala Harris is receiving the certification state by state of the votes, I think they just went through California, and, California, they certify that those votes go to Kamala Harris. Like, some things aren't going to change. Some things are going to stay the same, and we understand that. But the Democratic Party has not yet, to this point, on January 6th of 2025, has not yet embraced the idea that America is not where the far left of their party exists. There are a lot of Americans that are still looking at Donald Trump and at the Trump administration now and saying, you better put up. You better do what you said you were going to do, and I better be able to notice it without having to watch the news that is out there telling me how good I have it now because the right guy got in office. The Republican Party is being put on notice right now. We gave you this opportunity. You need to make good on the power that we've entrusted in you. And that's the beauty of this country, is that you have enough power to make a dramatic change. A dramatic change. If you think 2016 to 2020 to 2024, what a roller coaster that has been. We talk about a pendulum swinging one way to the other. Can you think, this time, 2021, January 6th, yesterday, January 5th, 2021, Georgia throws 2 Senate seats to the Democrats and hands them the majority so that the incoming president, Joe Biden, has both chambers of Congress? Do you remember what that felt like? Do you remember how much hope you had? Do you remember how much fear you had? Do you remember how much concern you had for your economics, for your national security, for the safety of this country, the security of the border, your ability to speak freely, to exercise every constitutional right that is guaranteed to you, that was given to you by God, because that's what it says. Do you remember what it felt like on January 6th, 2021? If you haven't really thought about it, if you felt like, gosh, this is such a great day, don't forget to sit that day right next to what you felt like on January 6th of 2021. Because if we screw this up, if the Republican Party fails to lead, fails to come together, we will find ourselves back there incredibly quickly. Just ask the Democrats right now who cannot believe that we are in the process, in this moment in time, in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, certifying the re-election of Donald J. Trump to become the president of the United States. They did not see that coming, and they did everything in their power to stop him, and it wasn't enough. The American people spoke, and the results are being certified today. You have to pay attention. You have to understand where we've been to know where we're going and to keep those people accountable. So when we come back, we're going to have Michael Whatley. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He's the one leading this charge for the Republican Party. He's going to speak to us when we come back about what happens next. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Grade your expectations for 2025. It's been a rough one to start. Where will it go from here? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and leave us a vote and tell us your expectations for 2025. How do you feel? Michael Whatley on the Annie Fry Show next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage, helping you start your year off right. Your personal mortgage, the situation you have surrounding your home, the idea that in 2025, you're going to need to buy a new home. You're relocating, maybe you're downsizing, all the kids are in college, and as much as you love keeping all of their things in your house, you're ready to have it be your own place where you have everything you want in your place. A new house means a new mortgage, and a new mortgage means you need to call or text Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And here's the words you need to say to him. Tell me about the bagel loan. You want to know about a bagel loan because when you get your new mortgage, or if you qualify for a bagel loan to refinance your mortgage, you go through that whole process with $0 in closing costs. This is a magnificent way to improve your financial situation, to put yourself in the best position to get the lowest rates that are available to you, but at the best deal available to you. 314-324-4440, Stewart's American Mortgage. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com. Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It is such a pleasure to be with you here on January 6, 2025, as we are watching right now the certification of the election results to where the official results of the November 2024 election will be made certified here, as Kamala Harris is presiding over that. We have on the phone with us, I'm very excited to have our guest on, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, joins us now. Chairman, thank you so much for the time today. It is an honor to have you on our show. I don't think we ever have. Thank you for coming with us while this historic event is taking place on Capitol Hill.
Well, thank you, Annie. It is indeed a great day for America as we're watching the certification count here in the House right now. And it's a great day for America and, frankly, for the whole world.
You know, I'm watching a lot of the news headlines talk about the headline isn't Donald Trump election results to be certified. It's Kamala Harris presides over her defeat. And there's a part of me that's saying, okay, that's yesterday's news. What happens next? It's nice to know that Donald Trump won, which means Kamala Harris lost. But when you see this moment, and yes, the visual of Kamala Harris sitting next to now Speaker Mike Johnson once again, what is your emotion about this particular moment? Are you looking back? Or are you looking forward?
I'm looking forward. I think that, what this is, the last formal event that has to take place before the 20th, where we're going to go to the inauguration, and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are going to be sworn in as the president and vice president. And then we're going to have a parade, and they're going to get into the Oval Office and roll up his sleeves and get to work. And the American people are very, very ready for this change. They're very ready for a president and an administration that are going to see, their safety and their security as the number one priority. They're going to see that the entire world is going to respect America again, and that we're going to restore our southern border, rebuild our economy, and keep our communities safe. That's what the American people voted for on November 5th, and I'm just very anxious to get there.
Yes, I think we all are. We've been kind of just inching forward at this moment, but I have a feeling, especially once that inauguration is complete, that it's going to go at a breakneck pace. Tell me, Michael Whatley, you're the chairman of the Republican National Committee. At this point, obviously your responsibility was to do everything in your power, along with your co-chair, Laura Trump, to get Donald Trump reelected. What is the Republican National Committee's focus and your focus in leading them at this point in time?
Well, right now we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support the president as he goes through this transition period, and then make sure that we get the inaugural ceremonies locked in and everything taken care of there. And then on the 21st, we're going to go right back to work and make sure that we win those midterms. We've got to make sure that President Trump has a full 4 years to work with Congress to advance this agenda. And we want to make absolutely sure going into the 26th election cycle that we're back to our fundamentals. We're getting out the vote and we're protecting the ballot.
Do you feel like since the election has occurred in November, it's been a couple months now, and I'm looking at the Democrats thinking to myself, they need to learn a lesson. I remember specifically in 2020, Laura Ingraham saying, like, the Republican Party needs to do their autopsy here. They need to do the postmortem and figure out what they need to do to win. And here we are with Donald Trump being certified right now. So it looks like the Republicans had to ask themselves some tough questions, and they did, and they succeeded. I'd assume that the Democrats have that same opportunity. Do you feel like the Democrat Party is doing what they need to do to make this a close fight in the midterms and then again in 28?
What we're seeing right now is a Democratic Party that's in free fall. Everybody thinks that the election was decided because they had a bad messenger, and they certainly did. But they also had a bad message. When you have a party that is dedicated to open borders, inflationary spending, and, trying to use America as a social experiment rather than focusing on the needs of, all citizens, all voters, and all communities, that's not going to work with the American electorate, and it's not going to work, frankly, for all of America. So, as long as they're going to continue to try and push forward with the agenda that they were advancing in this election cycle, they're not going to have any more luck. What Republicans won because Donald Trump knew what issues the voters cared about, and he talked about those issues relentlessly and made it absolutely clear that he's going to fight for every American family every single day. That's the key.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear that and to know that the message is pretty consistent. It's actually a pretty simple message, too, I would say. What Donald Trump delivered to the American people they were looking for. We're speaking with the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, on the Andy Fry Show right now. Chairman, when you are talking about your responsibility and the RNC's responsibility being to support Donald Trump right now, what is your ask of the American people that sent him there, who want him to succeed, obviously? Is there anything left for the people to do? We voted. He's got the right guy in there. What's left for us to do at this point?
Well, there's a lot to do, and the fact is that this is an American agenda. It's an America First agenda. But, we need Congress to work with the president. We know that there's a lot of authority that he has through executive powers, and he's going to use those on day one to secure the southern border, unleash American energy, and start moving forward with this agenda. But there's a lot that we're going to need Congress to help with. We're going to need Congress to vote on legislation, and the American people are going to have to continually remind their representatives in Congress and their senators to work with President Trump and move forward on this agenda. And then we're going to go right back into the 26th election cycle, because if we lose the House, if we lose the Senate, the first thing the Democrats are going to do is go right back to their impeachment playbook. They're going to go right back to the bogus investigations playbook, and they're going to do everything they can to disrupt this agenda. So we're going to focus on winning the midterm election cycle, and we're also going to support President Trump and J.D. Vance as they're moving, with Congress. But we're going to need the voters to hold their representatives and senators accountable.
I think that's a wise set of advice there for the people who are listening right now. And we have Republican in our listening area here in St. Louis area, in the bi-state region, Illinois and Missouri. We have a lot of Republicans and Democrats both in districts around this area. Do you expect to see any bipartisan work? Because Donald Trump was very popular across the country. Almost everywhere shifted towards Donald Trump. Do you think that there are Democrats who are going to get on board with the Donald Trump message?
I do, and I have to say that when we saw Speaker Johnson elected last week, one of the speeches that took place did not get reported on at all was by Hakeem Jeffries. And it was remarkable to me that he said, we are going to work with the president and the Republicans in Congress to secure the southern border. And we're going to work with them to bring in inflationary spending and help bring down prices for American consumers. That's a seismic statement by Hakeem Jeffries. And if he holds true to that, and the House Democrats hold true to that, then I think there's a lot that we can get done for the American people.
Chairman Whatley, before we let you go, I want to ask you to kind of reflect on the Republican Party as a whole, as you are a leader in it. I'm 40 years old myself, so I've come onto the scene, paid attention specifically just to set the stage a little bit. September 11th happened in my senior year of high school. A lot of the people who I knew then went and signed up to serve in the military in a wartime. So where I come from, George W. Bush is where I paid the most attention up until now. The Republican Party looks, I don't really recognize it right now as something that I've seen the playbook for before. What do you think is ahead for the Republicans, and what do you want people who are looking to potentially support this Republican Party to know about how you're going to manage operations with this RNC?
Yeah, Donald Trump has completely remade the Republican Party. And right now this is the working class party. This is a party that is going to represent every voter in every single state. That's why we built a common sense coalition that includes people like Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard. And it includes Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We had two different Democrats who ran for president come aboard and support Donald J. Trump in this election cycle. I think that's absolutely tremendous, and I think that's where our party needs to go. Every candidate who's going to run in 2025, 2026, 2028, or any time in the future is going to have to follow the lead of Donald Trump. Listen to your voters. understand the issues that they care about, put solutions on the table, and relentlessly campaign every day to let them know you're going to fight for their interest. And as long as Republicans do that, we can continue to be the party that's going to have the White House plus the Senate plus Congress. But as soon as we walk away from that and we start allowing Republicans to campaign on issues that they care about rather than the issues that the American voters care about, we will lose, and we'll go right back to that minority status that we just worked our way out of.
That's right. Chairman Whatley, thank you for your part in bringing America First back. And I'll let you get back to watching those certification results as they come in. A big day for the RNC, of course, but mostly for America as we get back to work here very soon. Thank you for the time today. It's great to speak with you. We look forward to having you back soon, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am. Take care and have a great week.
You as well. Bye-bye. Chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, on the Annie Frey Show. A great first guest for 2025. I don't think that we've ever... the only way that I would have ever spoken with him is if he would have been not the chairman.
Like he had a different position.
Like a spokesperson or something. But I don't think I've ever spoken with him.
That's a big get.
I've spoken with Laura Trump. I've spoken with Eric Trump. I've spoken... I've had Ron. I think I've spoken with Ronna McDaniel once, maybe. We tried to get her a lot, but she was definitely difficult to get on. And are they going right now? Let's
well, I know it's official certification. So.
Official certification. No funny business. No shaman. What was he called?
Wouldn't that be amazing if that guy walked right through, though?
I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be beyond me at all if like you had a George Santos or Matt Gaetz to have him be in the peanut gallery right now in his hat.
I'm okay with that. I would love to see that. Just him walking around like he's lost, like, oh shoot, I didn't even mean to be in here.
Guys, we're back. It's so exciting. This is so exciting. And we're here with you. And we are so grateful for you. And, we want to bring the Annie Frey Show to new heights in 2025, which is why we're going to hand it off to Wiggins America next.
Yeah. Let's get this thing going. It's a Monday roundup.
Monday roundup?
Uh-huh.
The first Monday roundup of 2025. You got any good stories?
No.
Feels just like
no, but I do have a lot of stories. They're all bad.
So this time, quantity over quality, as long as you bring one.
Yeah, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, add in 6. I got a couple articles here that could go for full segments.
Well, let's break up. That's totally, if this were the end of December, they would have.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we got a job to do now in 2025, and that is to bring you the news, the information, but of course the entertainment as well. We are grateful for you. You can stream us live on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Grade your expectations for 2025. A, B/C, D, or F. You can also go to AnnieFreyShow.com and click to stream there. Get your podcasts and everything at AnnieFreyShow.com. We would love to have you visit. You can even give us some feedback for the new year through a form on that website. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America and the first Monday roundup. Is this the first? You didn't do it while I was gone, did you?
No.
This is the first Monday
the first one.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
AirComfortService.com. If you are cold right now in your house and your heater's been running this whole time, maybe it's time to call Corey and the wonderful folks at Air Comfort Service. I hope you will. If you think that things are going fine, but you know somebody who might need help, or if you just want to put this phone number in for the time, this super untimely emergency time where you're like, gosh, I need an HVAC person immediately. Here's the number to call, 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. And it's not just for residential needs. Corey Malone and the wonderful people at Air Comfort Service can help you both residentially and commercially. If you're a business owner, a building manager, operations manager, office manager that has been recently told that your HVAC system needs a repair, you can call Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091 and get a free second opinion on heat exchanger or compressor repairs. So if you have this problem right now, call them, tell them Annie sent you. You'll be glad you did. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm William Shatner. I've been around a long time, but I'm truly humbled when I see the real battles our brave, paralyzed veterans have faced defending our freedom. And when they come home.
I had just come home from serving over in Germany. Next thing I know, it was 3 weeks later. I was paralyzed.
While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open, and I broke my neck. It left me paralyzed for the rest of my life.
I was on a routine patrol, and we were in the desert of Kuwait, and the vehicle flipped and landed on top of me, which left me paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay, folks, this is heroism. That's why I'm proud to support Paralyzed Veterans of America, because they've kept their promise to never leave a fallen soldier behind. A roof over their heads, accessible homes and cars, jobs, benefits.
PVA has brought me back to life.
Show them their sacrifice hasn't been in vain. Go to PVA.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Today is January 6, 2025, and we are asking you in the YouTube live chat poll to grade your expectations for the coming year. Your options are A, B, C, D, and F. We only have 4 choices, so B and C are all 1. Let us know what you think about the coming year, and then, of course, when you leave a comment, tell us how you're grading the year. Is it based on Trump? Is it personal? Is it larger for the country? What you think is going to happen? Let us know. 12:42. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's a January tradition. The Mark Cox Morning Show will be broadcasting live from the Missouri State Capitol on Wednesday for the first day of the legislative session. Sponsored by Golden Oak Lending. Homeowners get cash in as little as 14 days at Golden Oak Lending.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Did you know the actual wildest ride in the wilderness is closed for a year?
I knew it was coming soon. Is it closed now?
I think it's closed.
The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad that gave me a kidney stone?
It didn't give you a kidney stone.
No,
It
I
moved
didn't
your
have one until
It
then.
didn't manifest a kidney stone for you. It relocated it.
It told me, like, it goes,
Because
wow, this
you
ride
didn't-
in the wilderness.
'cause
And
we
it
went-
goes, get ready for some calcium in your organs.
3 straight days without sleeping and only walking, and you drank like a sip of water.
I was drinking a lot of coconut water.
You didn't finish it. You didn't.
No, I didn't finish
I'm
it.
the one who bought it.
Yeah.
There was a lot left over, and I tasted it, and I'm like, not for me.
Oh, yeah, it's good, though. It hydrates you well, except when you're walking 30,000 steps a day.
I think that it might hydrate you well if you drink it.
Oh, I drank some. I just didn't
Yeah,
finish
it
all of
doesn't
it.
count if you just buy it.
I specifically remember the amount of coconut water we had left over and thinking, like, I don't know that he really needed that.
No, I think I asked you can I just get like one of the larger ones? And you're like, well, I didn't have those, so I bought you a 24-pack or something.
It was
which is very generous.
It was a 6-pack. We were
But
there for 2 nights and
I
2
couldn't
days.
finish it because we were barely at the room.
Chris on YouTube says you need to stop licking the calcium off of the roller coaster.
Ew.
Well, that's something that I know now.
They got a lot of signs at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, but not that one.
But they do it such
if
like a
you
fun
see
way.
it now, though, you'll know why.
Yeah, but it's all part of the theme. Like, hey, don't lick the calcium off the roller coaster, and you're like, oh, that's so kitschy. You don't pay attention to the message.
It's just part of the theme.
Right. I want to
You can be an
mention
Imagineer.
before we get into this whole thing here that one of the more unique scenes, you only see this once in a while, and it's January 6th, so you got all of Congress together. I looked up in the break, and I saw 3 people standing together. And I don't know if they were all conversing.
Is this one of those weird, like, I thought we hated each other things?
No, it's
Okay.
it's just people you'd never see together.
Yeah.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance standing with Susan Collins and Mike Bost.
Mike Boss.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And a couple other people there, too, that I didn't recognize. But those 3 were there. And it's just like, I don't know how often they would ever be in a room conversing.
We will have Congressman Bob Onder on the show at 125, Missouri's 3rd District Representative. Glad to have him on the show. But before then, let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, Wiggins America is the Monday roundup. Now, I could give you a roundup for everything that's happened for the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to do that. You've been paying no attention.
I paid more attention than I thought I would.
I did, too. And actually, we were here hosting for some of it, so
Just passively, but like I didn't want to keep it. I wasn't afraid of. Well, some of the news got bad, I guess.
Well, let's start with some news then, because this one's pretty interesting. Greenland's prime minister pushes for independence from Denmark amidst Trump's interest in the nation. The self-governing Danish territory has been in the spotlight since U.S. President-elect Donald Trump reiterated his wish to buy the island. This is a wild story.
It is wild, and it's like every time I think, okay, I think I got my hand. I think I know where we're headed. Let's see if they can do it. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Greenland. Oh,
well, it's just funny because he had already.
They'll probably
stated
get
this.
an NFL team before we will.
Good for them.
It's not.
No,
it's not a huge media market. Is the thing.
Actually,
Nook.
no. St. Louis is going to get a new NFL team, but they're going to play their games in Greenland.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, we're going to do all the overseas games with the St. Louis whatever team. This is a weird.
No, crap, that's taken.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Well, let's just take the name from Minnesota.
Let's just be the Browns. Oh, hey, that's taken too.
Greens.
The
St. Louis Greens.
The greenies. Let's make all the DEI green, the environmental people. Let's have a
St. Louis Greens.
The mascot could be the little "How dare you" girl.
Yeah.
What's her name?
And the helmet's made out of soy.
Greta Thunberg.
I think that's probably good for Pfizer's study of CTE. I think we solved some problems here.
Gotta tell you, I didn't expect Greenland's interest in becoming an independent state from Denmark to turn into our discussion about a possible NFL team
For St. Louis.
for St. Louis.
We
But
play our stupid games in London. Baseball's like, ooh, Cards Cubs series, biggest ticket in town. Let's do it in Europe.
yeah, it was great. We
Stupid.
were all really happy about that.
Good story.
And then they left. And here we are. Greenland is
Happy.
possibly going to become an independent nation. I mean, I don't know what the process is here. Just the fact that 2 weeks ago, the prime minister was going, look, this is ridiculous. We're not for sale.
Well, that was Denmark.
Was that Denmark's prime minister saying
so
that?
Greenland is part of Denmark.
Well, yeah.
And the Danish prime minister was like, it's not for sale.
Well, I think
you don't
the
need to teach people this stuff right now. It's all going to change.
Well, the Greenland prime minister was saying the same thing, though. He was like, no, that's not part of our agenda. But then, look, the nation is 68,000
Nobody wanting to make
people.
a really good deal would be like, oh, we're totally into that.
Yeah, right.
A little hard to get.
Like, well, I'll wait till after Christmas to really tell them that we're interested. But the population of Greenland, just for perspective here, is smaller than St. Charles. That's how quickly that number of people could change their mind. I mean, it's not that many people.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Isn't that nuts? So,
like we talked about the Mercator map.
yes.
It's a little deceptive.
Exactly. There's almost nobody there. It's all in Nook, basically. And so you get a few people who go, oh,
You've been to Iceland.
You mean I can make some money?
You didn't go to Greenland.
No, we didn't go to. We talked about it though because it's not that far.
Can you go to Greenland?
The problem is if you go to Iceland, to go to Greenland, you're just going to set foot on the land and then say you did. There's nothing there. So we had to figure out, do we want to just do it to say we did it? Because if you go to Greenland, you want to go to Nuuk. It's the only city. And that's not really that close to Iceland. So anyway, wild stories coming out of basically every aspect of politics. I don't know why we wouldn't want to do that. I don't know that they're going to become a U.S. territory, even if they do become independent. But you'd think that they want some protection somehow. So if it's not Denmark... And in fact, if you're going to attack Greenland, who's going, I don't want to mess with Denmark, though. Anyway. Next one is an Illinois man found a Christmas present for himself inside the walls of his parents' home. His mom and dad had lost it 46 years ago.
What was it? This is a accidental time capsule.
It was. Yeah, it was 4 decades later that he owned a construction. He was doing a project.
What year?
46 years, so it would be 78-ish.
Okay.
He opened the package, and what was in it was a Thunder Jets toy. It was just like the little planes. And it looks so dated, but it's brand new.
I was going to say, is it valuable?
I don't know that it's valuable other than that it's
condition?
It's obviously brand new, never been opened. But even the wrapping paper was cool looking because it's just like, oh, that's what Christmas gifts looked like.
Did you get your bidet?
Sort of.
Did you get the cheap one?
No, I got the expensive one. But the gift was going to be that Katie came home from school one day and there was a bidet, and oh my gosh, what a great gift. So I had it sent to my handyman's house, but I put my zip code on his address. And so it was lost in the mail for about 2 weeks.
Uh-oh. When did you get it, or did you not have it yet?
It finally arrived at his house right after Christmas. So we haven't even got it.
Sounds like you didn't order it and you just Amazon Primed that sucker. 24-hour delivery.
I ordered that thing plenty early.
Do you have documentation to prove it?
Yes.
Okay. I won't argue.
If you're interested.
Not that interested. I can tell when you say yes whether you're telling the truth or not, and I think you're.
Well, I'm telling the truth. Yeah, this has been a terrible, terrible experience. We still don't have it.
Just wait until you have it, though.
Oh, yeah. It's going to feel wonderful. Nice and warm. All over.
What are you doing with this bidet? I don't want to know. Last time I asked you that question, I found out you use it a little bit differently than others. Next story.
New York City singles dish on why this Sunday is the biggest online dating day of the year. With the new year comes new swipes. And apparently, because people take off a lot of the holidays on the dating scene, this Sunday sees a massive free meals.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Explain what you mean.
You finish your story.
Okay. This Sunday sees a massive surge in online dating swipes and,
but why?
Queries. Because we're through the holidays. We're past New Year's Day.
So people just are like, I have some time now.
And people are like, oh, I got to get back on the scene.
I thought people were broke and women just wanted free dinner.
No. Well, that could be too.
I bet that's the real story.
But on Hinge, Dating Sunday, this Sunday, sees a 27% increase and 29% increase for other dating apps.
I think it's funny that in the time, I have never heard of women utilizing dating as just a way to get free meals, which we do stories on that several times during the year. They come up where it's like, yeah, you go on dates, you get free meals, and then you have no expectation of a second date. You just want that free meal. It's funny to me that this is happening at the same time where the pro-feminist movement is all about equality and everything. Whatever you go and the guy's a feminist is you're going to pay, right?
Yeah, I think we can do that now. I didn't really date during the feminist movement, but I think that if I were dating now, I would suggest that constantly. I would lead with, I'm a feminist.
Yeah. And you too are not interested in a second date.
No, not at all. I am interested in letting you pay for my meal.
This is where I wish I had more women in the room, because if I ever went on a date and one of the first things the guy told me was I'm a feminist, I just couldn't leave fast enough. And I would, especially in my 40th year of life, would not do a single thing to soften that blow.
You mean you would just leave?
Yes.
Leave the date?
Yes.
In the middle of it?
Why would I stay?
I don't know, the meal.
I'm paying twice for a meal on a date? No. I think that you'll remember that I have a now 20-plus year argument going with my husband on who asked who out on our first date.
Oh, yeah.
Because I adamantly would never have asked a boy out to go on a date.
And he claims that you did.
I actually got him to write down in documentation over the break that didn't happen.
This is still happening? This story
this is
evolves.
Still happening.
This story has changed since 2019 when I joined the show.
I have said many times I would never ask a boy out, not one that I really liked, but this is what women do. I would bend over backwards to try to get him to ask me out. It's not that I was like completely disinterested and he finally asked me out and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I was confident in my affection for him before he was confident in his affection for me. And we were socially friends for he's probably listening right now on a snow day going, you've got to be kidding me. I was socially friends with him for over a year, I think, before we ever went on said first date. And I was a resident assistant and RA at SIUE, and we took a group trip to a Cardinals-Cubs baseball game. I will tell you it was in 2004. I will tell you that Mike Matheny was up with the bases loaded, and he walked the winning run in, either in the bottom of the ninth or overtime. So you could go look up whenever that happened, and that would be the exact date when this took place. I remember the baseball game. I remember what happened. It was incredibly exciting. I was sitting down the third base line in the 300 to 400 section.
This is your first date with your husband.
This was not my first date with my husband. No. I asked him to come with me because it was a group outing with people who I worked with, and we did social things together all the time. And I asked him to come with me because I had an extra ticket. I might have asked one of my girlfriends first. I don't know. But I asked him to come with me. He came with me. And then maybe a week later, a week and a half later, it might have been even more than that. I need to find out what the actual date was to find out the time between that and what our actual first date was. I was very interested in dating him, but I think this show is responsible for suggesting that was our first date. And I'm like, it in fact was not a date.
I think it might have been.
Shut up.
It does seem as if to me that he was like, oh, yeah, this game's going into overtime. You want to spend some overtime with me? Like, there was kind of a date there.
That's what I said?
I don't know who said
Absolutely didn't say that. Or talk in that tone ever.
I wasn't there. This is just secondhand reporting. You know, when I talk to Jared, that's what you sound like.
You should hear what you sound like when I talk to Jared.
No, thanks.
Yeah, no, well, we agreed. He conceded, but I think he just did it because he loves me. I don't think he believes it. I think he was being nice.
Like altering the story now because he loves you?
He's like, fine. I asked you out. Fine.
Yeah, right. Whatever you need,
to
honey.
hear. Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, if you're single, consider this Sunday. You're going to have a little bit deeper pool to choose from.
Well, I'm not single. Very taken.
Go to go to Busch Stadium this Sunday.
Yeah, everybody. Just so you know, when you go to a Cardinals gate, you're dating, what is it now, like 18,000 people at a time?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully more in
That was your claim.
2025.
It was all a group date.
Yeah, I was on a date with everybody there. Just swinging around the whole stadium, doing my thing. Steve Moore and Congressman Bob Onder in the next hour. Don't go away.
Everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Onder Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. The presidential election certified. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. A joint session of Congress approving the results of the Electoral College vote from November's election.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris.
As President of the Senate, Vice President Harris presided over the certification that sealed her election defeat.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
President-elect Trump with 312 Electoral College votes to Vice President Harris's 226. 270 were needed to win. Unlike 4 years ago when protesters rushed the Capitol and interrupted the process, today's certification went smoothly. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is resigning.
As leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister of Canada,
I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians.
he'll stay in his post until a replacement is chosen. Trudeau's been Prime Minister since 2015, in recent years leading a minority government that's grown more and more unpopular, according to opinion polls. Canada's Parliament will be suspended until March 24th to allow time for a leadership race.
On Fox's Jonathan Savage, Trudeau has been Canada's Prime Minister since 2015, his popularity and the support of his own party waning. President Biden, in an effort to slow President-elect Trump's plans to increase domestic production of fossil fuel, issuing an executive order to block oil and gas drilling in 625 acres of federal waters, saying it's to protect the environment. The Trump campaign calls it payback for the election defeat. Because the order invokes a 1953 federal law, it would require congressional action to reverse it. Wall Street, the Dow is now up 7 points, NASDAQ up 200. America's listening to Fox News.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed. Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a bundle up Monday afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, a few wandering snow flurries. Windy and cold, 25. The wind chills feels like the single numbers all afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. The winds quickly go light and the temperatures tumble. Very cold, 8 degrees. Tuesday, sunny, light winds and cold, 25. 6 Tuesday night, 22 and sunny on Wednesday, 29 and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Well, it's kind of an STS Armory Christmas at the Annie Fry house and with the different places that we went, handed out some of those pepper sprays that I purchased from them. These pepper sprays are amazing. And if you go into STS Armory and you say to them, Annie was talking about pepper sprays, they're going to know exactly what I was talking about. And they're going to be able to direct you to the very incredibly affordable way to protect yourself. And for kids going back to college and so on and so forth, you can utilize this as a way to defend yourself in case of some sort of uncomfortable situation that could even be, considering animals that might be attacking you at any given time. These pepper sprays, when you spray them on somebody, it will leave a residue for like over a week that will show under a black light or whatever kind of light that they use with law enforcement to be able to mark the person who is attacking you or the thing that was attacking you. If you are looking for this type of safety device or security device, if you're looking for a firearm, if you're looking for education, if you have made 2025 the year that you are going to finally get your conceal and carry license, STS Armory, these are your people. You can trust them to guide you. I trust them wholeheartedly. You can find them at sts-armory.com.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry
Tax
Show.
policy overall, most of it is actually going to be reauthorizing the Trump tax cuts, which, by the way, is the best tax policy our nation's ever had. We already know what it is, so putting that into this vehicle is not going to be overly complex. Now, if you want to talk about the additives to that, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, yes, you have to write that language. I actually wrote the language with Senator Ted Cruz for no tax on tips. We wrote it late in the last Congress. That's policy that we already have drafted. You'll have to ruminate it with colleagues, get that piece through.
So that is Congressman Representative Byron Donalds talking about the no tax on tips. Remember that campaign promise? Good to see on the day of the certification of the election results from November of 2024 that these policies that a lot of people voted on, those economic policies, are still a main part of the conversation. It is great to have Steve Moore on for the first time in 2025, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation. You can read his book, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. Steve, we are on the edge of unleashing prosperity again in America. It's great to have you back on the show this new year.
We are. I'm supposed to be in the Capitol today. I was invited by Speaker Johnson to go watch this historic moment, which is happening right now, where they vote. The electoral votes are counted, and Trump is officially, president, and yet we have such a big snowstorm here in D.C. that I'm stranded in my house, so I wasn't able to go. But anyway, this is so after today, Trump will be officially have the electoral votes, which are formally counted today on the House floor, and I don't anticipate any problems with that. And so this will be exciting. Then, of course, on January 20th, he's inaugurated. And on January 21st, we really get started. Although I hear as soon as he, is sworn in, he's going to, which is right in front of the Capitol. I'm told by my friends, in the transition that Trump will then, while he's at the Capitol, start signing executive orders, reversing a lot of these crazy Biden executive orders. One of them, which, by the way, I hope he signs on that day. Did you see over the weekend, Biden took off limits the offshore drilling in the United States, which is crazy. I mean, we have so much offshore oil and gas. Other countries do offshore drilling. It's how Britain gets most of its oil comes from the North Sea. And they've been doing that for decades, and now we're not allowed to drill here. Now we all care about the oceans; we want to preserve them, but you can do this in an environmentally friendly way. But those are the kinds of things that we would like to see overturned right away.
We're speaking with Steve Moore about the economic future of the country. And, I'm thinking about the specific maneuver that Joe Biden has done here with the offshore drilling. And my understanding is that it is going to make it difficult for Donald Trump to just overturn it the way that Biden implemented it, because there's not the court system is going to tie all that up. Is there anything else you're seeing Joe Biden do right now, or more specifically on that is really going to cause a hamper in Donald Trump's ability to launch effectively on January 20th?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not a constitutional scholar, so I don't know. I've heard the same thing that you've heard, that they're doing this in a way. It's a very subversive way by Biden to try to prevent Trump from doing the right thing and overturning this, because he's invoking some kind of 1950s law or something. And so we'll see. But if I was Trump, if I were Trump, I would overturn it and then let the courts decide, and I would overturn it right away.
Right.
And then, of course, we got to get rid of these crazy EV mandates. I submit that the electric vehicle industry will do better under Trump than it did under Biden, because Biden destroyed the electric vehicle industry by mandating that companies produce them, mandating that citizens buy them, and turning them into Biden cars. And a lot of people just wouldn't buy them because they didn't want to, be seen as promoting a progressive agenda. But I think the EV mandates are going to be gone. I think we're going to start doing a lot more drilling on federal lands. I think we're going to pull out of a lot of these crazy international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, which is so anti-America. So you'll see a sprint. Remember the whole thing about, all the money we're going to spend on connecting people to the internet. They spent billions of dollars. They didn't add one family to those kinds of things have to go. So it's going to be an exciting period over the next few months. So folks, buckle up, fasten your seatbelt.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I have been so excited. It took a couple weeks off and always try to wrap.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, but I just saw, I'm on my phone, and it just came across that they've counted the electoral votes. Woo! We just made history, and Donald Trump is officially going to be inaugurated on January 20th as the 47th president of the United States.
It's such a historical moment. And, Steve Moore, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that.
I'm kind of feeling like a little chill down my spine, a good one, that I'm excited about this. And now they can't steal it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the votes are counted.
You're in these circles way more intimately than any of us are, which is why we're so grateful for our ability to have these conversations with you. But all of the pressure against Donald Trump that existed in 2016 and leading into the potential reelection of 2020 that didn't manifest itself, it seems as though I've watched his inauguration get big checks written by the likes of the Apple CEO and Bezos. Yeah, right. And there's some strange bedfellows going into the 2024-2025 Trump reelection that make me feel like the pedal might be down to the floor in getting the things done that Donald Trump has said he wants to do.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it is interesting. You know, I am here in the swamp in Washington, D.C., although today the swamp is turning into a white winterland.
Yeah, we just had all that, so we know what's coming for you.
But it is so interesting to me that even a lot of my Democratic friends who, 4 and 8 years ago just despised Trump, oh my God, he's evil. He's the next Adolf Hitler. He's a Nazi. I mean, they accused him of all this stuff. Now a lot of them are saying, hey, some of his ideas make a lot of sense. I just heard you talk about the no tax on tips. When I was 17 and 18 years old, growing up in Chicago, one of my first jobs, I think I've mentioned this to you, was a car parker at, weddings and bar mitzvahs and, other big events. And, you made all your money on the tips. Back then, if you got $1 or $2, that was a big deal. Sometimes you'd even get $5, and boy, did you feel rich. Well, I guarantee you, I don't think a lot of people are paying tax on that stuff anyway. So I think no tax on cash tips makes a lot of sense. Just a way of rewarding people for, doing a good job. And if you did well for people, if you're a waiter or waitress or bartender, you're going to get a nice tip. And
yeah.
Why should we tax that?
Well, I'm glad that you kind of talked about it that way, because something that I feel dramatically decreased during and after COVID is the service industry. That whole idea that you need to work really hard to do a good job that will be financially rewarded and you won't be punished for doing that. That's like, there's an ability to change culture when you do that.
Yeah, and the left wants to get rid of tips altogether, and everybody just gets paid the same. And I'm like, no, if I do a better job than you, I want to be paid more than you are. And, that's what we believe in. If you're efficient and you're productive, you should get paid more than the guy who's sloughing off, right?
Yeah.
And so this is something that's going to be a big deal. If we're going to make the Trump tax cut permanent, we're going to try to do that in the first 6 months. By May, Trump said by May, he wants that bill on his desk. So we're going to be working our butts off to make sure that we get that bill through the House and Senate. And it's not going to be easy because Republicans have a 2 or 3 seat majority in the House out of 435, and then they've got a 3-seat majority in the Senate. But I don't anticipate a lot of Democrats are going to go along with that. So it's going to be, it's a heavy lift to get this done, but the American people want it done, right? I mean, this was why Trump won this election and won so many of these close states, especially in the Midwest, because people were tired of the massive increases in deficits and debts and inflation.
Before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity to talk to us about roadblocks that might be thrown in front of Donald Trump's agenda. If there's anything that you see that you're leaning into closely that could cause problems for Donald Trump to be able to get things done. We saw the Speaker of the House vote. It's kind of dramatic for a minute, but if you didn't pay attention to the news that day, you wouldn't even know that it happened. Is he going to have any major roadblocks right out the gate?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I say my prayers at night, I want to keep this president safe. I mean, there are a lot of nutcases out there, and we want to make sure that he remains safe. There have been 2 assassination attempts against him. Obviously, we have to protect against that. And then you deal with the other big roadblock, which is Congress. And, they are the legislative branch. They make the laws. And he's going to have to woo Congress to get these, votes that he needs to get all of these things through. We want to do more drilling. We want to do more. We want to obviously get the wall built and get the border secure. We want to do the tax reduction. We want the DOJ committee to recommend hundreds of billions of dollars of savings from the budget. But all of those things, Annie, are going to require Congress to cooperate, and that ain't easy.
Yeah. Hopefully, it seems as though Donald Trump's influence is pretty powerful, and we'll get as much done as quickly as we can.
Majority, we saw with the Speaker vote. If you just get 3 or 4 or 5 renegade Republicans, and by the way, some of those guys were my friends, and I didn't agree with their tactic, but I do agree that the budget is way out of control. But it's just not an easy job. So I don't want people to think this is a layup. It's not a layup, but the one thing Trump has going for him, I mean, it is the most amazing thing because I met Trump in the end of 2015, so it's been a little over 8 years, maybe 8.5 years I've known him, and his approval rating is higher today, Annie, than it's ever been. He's at a 52% approval rating now. Throughout most of his presidency, and most of the time that he's been running for president, he's never been over 50%. And by the way, his disapproval rating is now 39%. That's a plus 13%. That's huge.
Yeah. And it never would have happened if the path to this point in time would have been different, which is just kind of an amazing thing to reflect on. His ability to get things done with that kind of support now as opposed to being reelected in 2020, I hope it is as historical as we all think.
By the way, did you see what happened today with Trudeau has resigned as president of Canada? I think I said on your show a few weeks ago, I predicted this, that you would see a lot of these arrogant, out-of-touch, self-centered politicians around the world. I think you're going to see a lot of governments toppled over like dominoes because people around the world are looking what's happening in America, where you have a pro-people, populist president who follows the dictates of the people, not the special interest groups. And that's what everybody wants, and so I think it's a very exciting time for the U.S. and the world.
I think so, too. And we are so excited to have this partnership with you, Steve. Thank you for your time every Monday that you can make it with us. I hear about you all the time when I talk to our listeners, and they appreciate you so much, and so do we. So thank you for being with us here today.
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you next Monday.
Happy New Year. Talk to you next Monday.
I'm going to go back to shoveling.
Yeah, just stay inside. It'll melt. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, man. What a good conversation. I'm glad he got snowed in and got to usually Steve Moore has a pretty tight schedule with us. It's very common that we'll be supposed to talk to Steve at 1:05, and at 12:45 he's on Fox News, or you could tune in and see him on Fox News in 10 minutes. And for whatever reason, he continues to come on the show and give us this great access. But that snowstorm, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little annoyed every time. It's like the snowstorm sweeps the entire country. In New York, it's like over. And then the East Coast is like, snow!
Oh, I know.
And it's like,
I know.
Yeah, we know. do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yankees win the World Series. Aren't you excited? Yeah, thank you.
It says nobody outside of New York. Well, that's not true, but it's just funny to watch the snow, like people. It's just indicative of so many other things from the news standpoint, not Steve Moore, but from the news standpoint, when you turn on the news and you've just been bombarded with weather and it makes it to the East Coast and you're like, guys, have you heard?
Yeah, can you believe this is happening?
Yeah, we're dealing with it. Did you have any trouble getting to work today?
We
all come from the east side.
Easy,
yeah.
But I didn't have any specific trouble.
What time did you get here?
10:30.
And you got here.
I was here about 7:30 because I left early.
What time did you leave your house?
6:50-ish.
So 40 minutes?
40 minutes or so.
Usually like a 25-minute, 20 to 25-minute drive?
Yeah.
See, there's strategy there. Wait until it's a little bit later.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, me too.
I was ready to leave my house at 10. 10, that's probably not true. 10:30. Like in my car.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't really know like what the requirements are when you get this much snow/sleet because we don't ever get it. So I thought I'm just going to back out of this driveway.
Did you shovel at all?
Heck no, I didn't.
You just went for it.
Just went for it. Got stuck in the driveway.
Did you?
Probably 35 minutes of sitting in the driveway. My husband had to come outside. We got 4 kids at home. We got 2 dogs at home. It's a snow day for them. And I'm like, I'm stuck in the driveway. And I'm going to tell you what, I was trying to rock that Pacifica back and forth, pedal to the ground, forward and reverse. Couldn't do it.
Wow.
Couldn't get out. So he had to dig me out, and then I had to launch myself onto the road in front of my house.
I'm glad to hear that you didn't shovel because when I went out and shoveled.
Shoveling that driveway? You kidding me?
Yeah, you have you have like a couple car lengths than I do. But
and it's really wide. I have more driveway than I have front yard.
Well, that's why I got a way that I figured out how to do this now, and I think it works. Where you just shovel the path in one tire.
Yeah.
Because all you need is one tire to have grip.
No,
yeah.
Otherwise, you just start spinning in circles.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
That's not the way it works.
If I would have just backed straight out of my my garage onto the road, and I have a somewhat busier road in front of me, so that is never advisable except for maybe today. I tried to do my one. I guess it was just a backup. That's not a 3-point turn. Just back up to a 90-degree angle and then go out the front.
2-point turn.
Yeah, nobody talks about that. But if I would have just backed up, I would think I would have been fine. When I went and did, I was
you
stuck,
tried to turn around.
Which is what I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
I was stuck perpendicular because I thought, I'll just leave this car here and get my husband's Jeep. Nope, I was blocking the whole driveway.
Oh, that stinks. Why didn't you just take the Jeep to start?
I don't want to drive that car. It's bigger than mine. I had all my stuff. And by the time I got out into the driveway, there was like 8 inches of ice and snow, and I'm wearing my Adidas tennis shoes with ankle socks and my jogger pants. I would have been like, what a prissy thing to say. Can I say that word anymore? But I didn't want to get my ankles snow cold.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I told my husband,
that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Girl's allowed to say that. Ryan says that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
my ankles
prissy.
are sensitive. Yeah, exactly. I call my husband, like, I'm stuck in the driveway. He goes, uh-oh, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I can't go anywhere. So he gets in, is just the greatest, comes out, shovels me out. And the funniest thing was I had both of the front windows down. And he starts shoveling out the front left, and he goes to shovel the front. And he's like bent down, and he's going to town right there, and he shovels, throws the snow back, and half of the shovel hits the door with my window open and hits me in the car. And so I had to like quick roll the window up. I wasn't going to complain about it, but he almost took a full shovel load and just arced it right into the window.
Wait, the snow or the
Snow.
shovel
Snow.
broke?
Snow.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
just throwing the snow out of the way.
Okay.
But like the arc of it went right by my door.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a super quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Congressman Bob Onder, and we are so excited to hear from somebody who was there in the room while the certification of Donald Trump's results have been met. In just a minute, Congressman Bob Onder on The Annie Fry Show.
I need a miracle. Stranded, reaching out. I call your name, but you're not around. I say your name, but you're not around.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. Hey, Mark Cox here. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com, 314-325-6888 or gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, education reformer Corey DeAngelis will join me. He'll highlight the new hire for superintendent in Webster Groves. Oh, she's a doozy.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Well, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Super quick break there because I wanted to get right to our next guest because you all know Congressman Bob Onder, of course, here in the St. Louis area. He is the new congressman from Missouri's 3rd District, and we get to talk to him here first as we have seen and observed the certification of the election results of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their victory in November. Congressman, welcome back to the show. Thanks for giving us some of your time this afternoon.
Well, thanks, Annie. It's great to be back.
Well, how's the snow in on Capitol Hill right now? We're done with it here in Missouri, I think. Is it hit you guys at the Capitol quite yet?
Yeah, it hit us pretty hard overnight. I actually walked into work this morning. I would say it was about 6 inches or so. Yeah, it was pretty brutal, pretty cold out. We're in the mid-20s. But, you know, I still feel good, Annie, because I feel unburdened by what might have been.
It was interesting to watch Kamala Harris preside over the certification process. I thought she did a fine job. She got to the business of it and got it over with. After after you've been sworn in, you've been through a
It
speaker
was also
vote?
it was also fun listening to Amy Klobuchar read all the red states that were carried by Trump fans.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. Tell us about the process of being there and witnessing this historical moment.
Well, yeah, I cannot say it gives you goosebumps to say that you've been there, to hear the roll call of all the states and the votes for Donald Trump for president and J.D. Vance for vice president, and just the really strong margin, the clear mandate that Trump and the Republican Congress has toward making real change that's going to take back our country. It really just was an incredible honor. And I have to say, it's my birthday, so it was an incredible birthday present as well.
Well, that's wonderful. Happy birthday to you, Congressman. I know that people in Missouri's 3rd District and the people here in our listening audience are very excited about what is to come. Having watched the speaker vote be close once again, but everything's going to be close in the House of Representatives. And I'm quick to remind people that the transformation of what's going to happen to get this whole entity of government back to America First, it's going to be a messy process, and it's going to be out there for everybody to watch. How do you feel right now about the Republicans' ability to stick together to get the America First agenda of Donald Trump done through the House to get over to the majority of Republicans in the Senate?
Yeah, Annie, I think we will do that. We will perform on the America First agenda. And I think although there are sometimes disagreements about details, I think Republicans in the House are broadly in agreement about securing the border, about reversing the disastrous Biden economy, about restoring sensible energy policy and energy dominance, and fighting back and reversing the woke agenda that's been foisted upon us by the Biden-Harris administration. And again, sometimes, especially when you get to tax policy and renewing the Trump's tax cuts, there might be some difference between red state Republicans and blue state Republicans. At the end of the day, I think with Donald Trump's firm leadership in the White House, I think we're going to get together, and I think we will get it done for the American people.
Tell me about the influence that Donald Trump has as of course, the leader of the Republican Party, being the president of the United States. How much influence does he have on what the House Republicans do with their time and their very slim majority?
Yeah, I think it's a huge influence. You know, the things I listed, the border, the Biden economy, the energy policy, the fighting the woke agenda, I think those things are way at the top of our list because they're way on the top of President Trump's list. And they're what Donald Trump ran on. And really, it's not just that we're blindly following Donald Trump. It's what we all ran on. It's what I ran on both in my primary in August and my general election in November. So I think Donald Trump will have a huge influence. But at the same time, I think we know that Donald Trump many times is a big picture guy, and I think he will leave it up to us to hammer out a lot of the details. And I'm confident, though, with Donald Trump's leadership, sometimes his cajoling, we will get it done, despite the very narrowly divided Republican majority in Congress. But and at times, who knows? We may even get a Democrat or two voting with us. You know, tomorrow we will be taking a vote on the Laken Riley Act to stand for the premise that illegal aliens ought to be detained by ICE and deported after Laken Riley, who of course was murdered by an illegal alien. I'd be curious to see how many Democrats vote with us on that. I would hope all of them, but I think we will. I think we will get it done despite our narrow majority.
We're speaking with Congressman Bob Onder, Missouri's 3rd District representative. So as a newly sworn-in congressman, who are you leaning on, or how are you doing coming into this position, navigating what I have to think would be a steep learning curve, but you're definitely up to the task. How are you finding your way around Capitol Hill?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I benefit quite a bit from my time in the Missouri Senate, so I understand the legislative process. But who am I leaning on? Who's the help? Well, I think, first of all, my staff has been phenomenal. Most of them have some experience on the Hill, experience in policy, experience in communications, working for other good Republicans. The leadership staff has been very helpful. Many of my colleagues from Missouri have been very helpful. Congressman Jason Smith, Congressman Eric Burleson, Congressman Mark Alford have all been really good friends of mine and have been very helpful. So a lot of people, but they talk about it drinking through a fire hose. I've drank from a few fire hoses before in my medical training and in my previous elections, my previous legislative service. But no, I've been very blessed to be working with some really good people.
What areas of focus will you have on Capitol Hill, of course, representing the people of Missouri's 3rd districts, but committee assignments, other opportunities that you'll have to serve in more specific areas?
Yeah, well, of course, that part of that starts with my committee assignments. I will be serving under Congressman Jim Jordan in the Judiciary Committee. There, I hope to work on border security. I hope to work to push back on the unconstitutional abridgments of our freedoms by the Biden administration, by the weaponization, against the weaponization of government. But I'm also serving on the Education and Workforce Committee, where I think where I want to work on rolling back the woke agenda, reversing and really putting a stake in the heart of the transgender industrial complex that preys on our children, fighting back against the ideologues who would indoctrinate our kids in K through 12 and higher education. So those are some of the things I'm working on, really a lot of the things that Donald Trump and his White House are prioritizing.
Congressman Onder, when it comes to your ability to work with the likes of Doge, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, a lot of people are asking about two things that go hand in hand when it comes specifically to the House of Representatives, that power of the purse. There's a lot of talk about cutting government, shrinking government, but also there's talks about making those permanent tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, make them be permanent. People are wondering what is going to get cut, how we're going to continue to fund what we have. What do you think that the table is set for in 2025 and beyond with this reformative way of governing from the House?
Yeah, well, I'll first say that the Donald Trump tax cuts, the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act, absolutely has to be renewed and I believe should be made permanent. Otherwise, every American family will take a $1,400 tax hike, a $1,400 hit on their finances. But also, every small business in the country will see a steep tax hike. The death tax will increase. And I would say, too, that tax cuts do not necessarily result in a decline in revenue. In fact, we need pro-growth economic policies that will help us grow out of this horrific deficit and horrific debt that we're in right now. But yeah, I'm very encouraged by the work of Doge. I agree with Elon Musk that we could let 40% of federal employees go without hardly missing it. Now, it's a little difficult sometimes because you're working under union contracts and the merit system and all of that sort of thing. But yes, we need to look for every place we can to cut waste and fraud and abuse, but also resist expanding entitlement states. You know, one of the worst things Obamacare did was to dramatically expand the Medicaid rolls, and then Biden came along and further expanded Medicaid rolls. They made it such that Missouri could not even check eligibility and throw people off who, let's say, came into a large pay raise or even won the lottery. So we need to look everywhere we can to save money, because really we are mortgaging our kids and our grandkids' future with the overspending, a $1.4 trillion deficit, a $35 trillion debt. We are mortgaging our kids and our grandkids' future. That's got to stop.
I completely agree with that, and clear focus on that now before it gets too incredibly difficult. With such a slim majority of those Republicans in the House, if something looks to get cut and it hurts a particular district more than another, it might be difficult to see an agreement be reached. Do you feel like you'll get any Democrat participation in cutting some of these agencies and this spending as you go through the process?
That's tough. Any Democrats like to spend money, and they don't. It seems the only place that the Democrats ever are willing to cut is defense. But believe me, there's fat in the defense budget too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is going to have to come from Republican leadership. I don't think we saw with ARPA, with the very misnamed Inflation Reduction Act, that most Democrats have no interest in containing spending at all.
Well, we appreciate your time. We hope you'll come back and keep us updated because there's going to, of course, be so much news to cover here as that drinking through a fire hose continues for all of us in this new America First way of doing government. And we're grateful for your time today, Congressman. Thank you for being with us.
Well, it's a bright day. It's morning in America. And yes, I look forward to being back, Annie. Thank you.
Of course. We'll talk to you again soon. Congressman Bob Onder, Missouri's 3rd District Congressman. As he said there, Ryan, when he's like, yeah, the Democrats, they really just like to spend money. I know a few Republicans who feel the same way. So it's going to be a reality check for people to pay attention to whoever is your representative, the willingness to participate in this cutting. We've talked about how exciting it is to see Doge come in, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, their suggestions. But at the same time, when the rubber meets the road, it was fun to talk about it before Christmas. Now we actually have to see it manifest, and it's not going to be as easy as we hope it will be.
Well, you said it. It's everybody wants cuts until it's their district, and everybody wants to cut the size of government until it affects them. And this
Which is why we have a House of Representatives structured the way it is.
Right. This is the hard part, and Democrats are not willing to do the hard part. I just hope Republicans are, because
all of them, every one of them,
they have to all be willing to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
And I think one of the most interesting things that can come of this, and this is where I think Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy really need to apply their skills, is that it's not just about cutting government. We have to figure out how to privatize and support the services that the government has absorbed, and in so many cases does so incredibly poorly that the ability, if your government service gets cut in this process, the idea should be that your ability to access those services should be vastly improved by the private sector taking over and here is an opportunity for everybody to see a marketplace and an opportunity to serve charitable organizations, people who work with community organizations, to be able to provide certain kinds of services. There is huge opportunity in the private sector. It's not as if, folks, we need to not be in the mentality that if the government doesn't do it, it doesn't get done. Once you peel that back, the possibilities are endless.
And that's across so many spectrums of government. Everybody piles on the DMV, and rightfully so. The last time I had to get
I could talk about the DMV.
Oh, please. The last time I had to get anything done that involved the DMV, I just said, I'm not doing it. I'm going to
arrest me.
Yeah.
Come and get me.
Come on.
Well, it's good though. In the state of Illinois, they're like, you can't pull people over for minor infractions anymore. Or that's not legal advice. But there's something about
they're just drawing the line too high now.
There's just certain things. I'll go find the actual language, but there are certain things they're like, it's the law that you shouldn't do it, but we're not going to enforce it.
Well, we had to get some things done, and it involved the transfer of a title. And I said, I'm just going to Rich's driver's service. I'm not going down to the
Rosenthal in Edwardsville. It's right across the parking lot from the DMV.
We go to one of those private places because you know that A, you're going to get it done faster. You're not going to wait in a line forever. And B, there's accountability on the other side. That transfer of that title, because of the way the state government works, took over 9 months. It's supposed to take 1 maximum.
Yeah.
As of 8 months, I was still calling Rich's driver service going, hey, you follow this? They're like, yes, but we're as much as we could do. But at least they had the accountability rather than me trying to call the state, which would have gone nowhere.
I made 3 trips to the DMV in the last week.
Oh, I didn't know this.
I'll tell that story when we come back. I've got both ends of the spectrum.
But applying Doge to all of government in the same way that we're just talking about the little DMV story stuff, because there is so much waste and bureaucracy, and it runs so inefficiently across every aspect of government that the more you can privatize, even if it has to funnel through the government first, the better it will be. And the more efficient and less money it'll be.
Let's take a quick break. We'll talk more about that when we come back. My trip to the DMV. If you subscribe or like or follow, whatever the heck Facebook and Zuckerberg wants you to do right now on Facebook, the Annie Fry Show page, go hang out with us there, of course, anytime. I posted a picture that might give you a wink and a nod as to why I was at the DMV. But it was a pretty momentous situation, and I have very positive things to say and very negative things to say about that experience. Stick around. More Annie Fry Show right here on 97.1 when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. The new year, new floors. Is that something that you are looking to do in your home or in your place of business? I want to make sure that you understand how Michael's Flooring Outlet operates. Being a family-owned and operated business for, 3+ decades. They understand the St. Louisan, they understand your wants and needs, and they understand your commitment to quality and value at the same time, which is really what we're all looking for. You don't want to go out and buy like the most cheapest product you could ever find, because you know that when you buy cheap, you get cheap. But you do want to make sure that every cent of your hard-earned dollar is going to purchase something that has quality and you appreciate value. Well, you found the right people in flooring when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. If you're looking for carpeting for your home, that fresh smell of carpet, being able to sit down and run your hand over that soft and strong carpet that you've put in your home, you might be looking for that Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line that has superior performance and the durability that you need. We're talking about quality, and we're talking about value at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've got 3 locations across the St. Louis area. You can check them out online at igotfloored.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Need I remind you, it's not just a new year, it's a new administration. Grade your expectations for 2025. That is today's YouTube live chat poll. A, B, C, D, F. We gave you the options. Let us know what you think the coming year will hold. You find that by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. 145. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We're shining a spotlight on the incredible first responders who keep our community safe every day. Each month, Mark Cox and Grillmaster Tony Stone will personally deliver a delicious lunch to a deserving department. Visit 971talk.com/contests. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I know I'll be A-okay. I know I'll be A-okay. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-okay. I know I'll be A-okay. Hey little lady, I know you're feeling crazy. All your other friends are busy making them babies. Been out in the real world, don't like how it's tastes.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Gosh, it's just good. Things are good. The weather sucks.
It's kind of fun unless you got to drive. If you're in school, you love it.
I'm going to pass on asking you forcefully to do a weather report because you feel a little under the weather.
Yeah, I am under the weather, so I don't want to report on the weather.
You could be under the weather, on the roof, in the snow.
That's above the weather.
In the pool. Depends on where you go.
Yeah, if I get in the pool, things are going to go pretty rough.
Every time I think about Ryan Wiggins' snow report, was that last year or was it 2 years ago?
That was last year.
you report in a snowstorm on the top of a 22-story building in downtown St. Louis. I have to watch it and I laugh out loud
That's
every
great.
time.
I watched it this year too because you reposted it, and
100% chance it sucks.
you know what? It was a good line, and I just went up there with a mic.
Yeah, and
that's it.
When you watch the video, he's holding a microphone.
Yeah.
And Leah was our associate producer at the time, is up there videoing this with her phone. And he's holding a microphone to do the reporting, and the cord from the microphone is just in his pocket.
It doesn't go anywhere. It's just a prop.
There's no high-tech situation happening.
No, I'm
here.
yelling into the camera mic. There's nothing happening. And we had no plan. It was like,
No, it was great.
Look, it's snowing up on the roof. Let's go there. And go.
You can go to the Andy Fry Facebook page. I linked to the YouTube video of it right there, and go watch it. It could have been shot today or last night. The weather was really, really nasty yesterday. Not only did I not go outside, I barely even looked outside. There could have been 12 feet of snow, and to me, it was the same as if we got 1 inch of snow.
It's weird because it was so nasty out, and we talked about this a couple times. I think Brad and I talked about it Friday too. How, it's so nice when it snows. You walk outside, it's so quiet. But it was actually loud for a good portion of that because the sleet. It was hitting the windowsills and hitting our one little skylight we have, and it was like,
Did you go outside and play in it with your kids?
Yep, I did, briefly.
How long did you last?
Not long. It was
time it. How much?
Here's the problem. It was mainly to shovel. So I went out to shovel my one little strip, and so I'm outside. So at the end of the shoveling, then I was like, okay, I'll go try, because we got my son a snow scooter for Christmas, which it looks the same as a regular scooter, but just with no wheels. So you can go down little hills on it.
So it's a sled?
Well, it's a sled with a handle, but you stand on it. And
so
I thought,
it's really like a different kind of sled.
Yeah, it looks like a snowboard, but with handles.
Okay.
And
Sounds
so
fun.
we don't have big hills in my yard, but enough little ones that you can kind of like test yourself. So I went out there, and nobody's watching because I thought this would be good.
Someone's always watching. I have video.
Just in case. Not of this, you don't. Wait a minute. Do you?
No.
Were you at my house?
No, heck no. I didn't even look outside.
I went out there, and again, no witnesses. And I wish there was, because I thought, man, I'm going to fall, you know.
And you nailed it?
And I nailed it.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was great. But then I was tired because I'm like, I've been shoveling for the last 30 minutes.
That's exhaustive work.
Yeah, and I wasn't even doing the whole driveway. It was just enough to get to the road.
My husband was sitting in the chair with the puppy on his lap, and I came downstairs and I laid on the couch. It's just doing the winter thing. It's perfect weather. I remember thinking, like, how long could I stay inside and be happy to be inside? And I was like, I loved COVID. Like the idea of staying inside and being just like, oh, you got to stay home. I was one of the very few people who was like, I can live like this. But as we're laying there and we're watching, I don't know what we were watching on TV, something on TV. I think Hawaii videos. We are going to Hawaii this summer.
Check out Hawaii 5-0.
Oh, is that good research?
Great TV show.
The original or the new one?
The original.
We're sitting there and we're like watching tropical things on YouTube or whatever. And just like as the late morning is progressing, the two youngest girls are just adding layers and like getting scarves out and hats out. And it got to the point where we're like, what are you doing? Because one of them's 3. One of them's 8. 8-year-old can go outside and play by herself. But you can't really just let the 3-year-old go out. And 8's still pushing the limit as to whether or not the 8-year-old can watch the 3-year-old, especially if they play as hard as they fight. It's just a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And like we're sitting here looking like, one of us is going to have to go out here and do this. I hate the cold weather. I do not want to be out in it. My husband usually does, but it was like, still coming. I mean, the sleet was hitting the windows. It was like not the time to go out and play. So my oldest daughter ended up suiting up and going out there. They were out there for no more than 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They played, but I mean, it was still coming down. Like the sleet was coming down hard. And my 3-year-old came and she's like, it is so cold out there. And we're like, yep.
My kids spent a lot of time outside yesterday, and the most time they spent, so they did a little bit of the sledding on their little hills, and They were trying to make snowballs, but you couldn't in this.
I think that was one of the
killed it.
reason why they came in sooner, because the snowmen weren't happening, the snowballs
Yeah, you
weren't
couldn't
happening.
build forts or anything. It was just tough. And so once the snowplow came by, which happened while I was shoveling, then all of a sudden there's a massive mound in the front yard. So they were like, "Oh, massive mound, eh?" So they ran out there, and I think they stayed on that thing, on that one big hill that thing had made, for 2 hours.
The day before the weather hit was visit 3 to the DMV for me. So
Set the stage here.
If you scooped it, you went to the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, you saw a picture of me in the passenger seat of the vehicle with my son driving.
Ah, I did see that.
Charlie got his permit. The first place we go was to the Edwardsville DMV. And I have, prior to this, had perfectly fine situations. I don't want to be at the DMV any more than they do, to be the God's honest truth. But I don't have a problem with going in somewhere, getting the job done, and leaving. Well, if you don't know this, specific to Illinois, I have no idea what the Missouri situation is. But in Illinois, they don't want to see you for anything walk-in services other than, I think, maybe getting a sticker, but that could even be wrong. If you have intention to go to the DMV, you need to log in and you need to make an appointment, or you need to call ahead to see if you need to make an appointment. We walked into the DMV, my husband, myself, and my son, and it's permit day. It's a pretty exciting day. We walked in, we're kind of excited, a little nervous, and we walked in, and the person who talked to us, I don't know that she ever even looked at us. She just sensed our presence. And she's like, "Why are you here?" And we're like, "Oh, getting a driver's permit. You have an appointment?" We're like, "No, you need an appointment." And then she just handed us a paper, and then she just went back to doing something else.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That was the extent of it. But it made me be like, well, I'm not coming back here again. And they're like, good.
Man, they don't care at all.
That's kind of like what we're talking about.
You have nothing to hold over them.
There's no. Yeah, yes, I don't want to be like the Karen about the situation, but we do pay for that service to exist. So they are technically working for you, but they certainly don't give a crap.
No.
And I was like ready. I was like, I'm going to talk about the DMV when I go in. So where do I go? But the Granite City DMV, because the Granite City DMV was the only one that had appointments available that day. We really wanted to get this service taken care of before we went to school, back to school this week. So we go to the Granite City DMV. We walk in, and that place was packed, and every single person in there was as nice and sweet and caring as could be.
Oh, that's great.
It was unbelievable.
The workers.
Yes, and the people who were in there. The people who were in there were happy.
Wow.
I will never prioritize going to the Edwardsville DMV again.
See, I've always gone to the Edwardsville one because they seem to be quicker, but I've never been to Granite.
Went to Granite, wanted to get my son a state ID. Want to get him a FOID card, but you can't do that without a state ID. He needed to get his permit. Turned out that we didn't have the right documentation to get the permit. They helped us get the state ID and told us, like, hey, if you can get this paperwork, we had to get a piece of paper from school that my son should have gotten earlier and didn't. But being a day after Christmas birthday, it's just complicated. You just expect it's going to be complicated. They're like, listen, if you can get this paper, I think we were in there at 2 o'clock. 2:20, I think, was our appointment. They're like, if you can get this paper and get back here before 4:30, you don't need to make another appointment. Just come in and see me. They were super accommodating.
Yeah, that's very
We
good.
couldn't get the paperwork that day, but we went and got it the next morning at school. Made a 9:40 a.m. appointment. He went in, took the test, passed the test, and I was driving around parking lots with my son on Saturday afternoon.
Just the fact that they were willing to say, look, hey, if you do this, like, it's like
They
a
were
tip. Like
helpful.
they cared about something.
They helped me through. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have what you need. Okay, well, that's fine. I understand. This is what you need. They walked us through it. They made themselves accommodating and available. So not to crap on the place that I didn't, that one person and that one experience, that doesn't speak for everybody at the first place. But I was just happy to be and experience what was going on at the Granite City DMV. Carl and Karen, I think her name was Karen or something like that. I can't remember all the names of the people that I worked with, but you guys were great. Go to the Granite City DMV. And they don't know me from Adam, that's for sure. All right, we'll be back with 2 o'clock hour in a minute. Don't go away.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. and hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Uzo Aduba, and right now medical information is not regularly being shared within the research community, but you can help change that. Patients can help accelerate research by sharing their information and unique experience.
Everyone's experience with cancer matters, including my own.
If you're a cancer patient in the U.S. and its territories or Canada, you may be able to play a part in accelerating cancer research and uncovering new breakthroughs simply by sharing your patient data with researchers around the world.
My unique experience can make the difference of life and death to some of the people in my community.
It is in our stories and data that the answers can be found.
Join Stand Up to Cancer, Count Me In, and thousands of patients like Maeve, Bridget, and Joel in this movement.
For our family.
For our friends.
For us all.
The information is out there. Together we can unlock it. Join in at standuptocancer.org/countmein.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Onder Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The election results now official. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. A joint session of Congress certifying the Electoral College results from November's election from each of the 50 states, giving President Trump 312 Electoral College votes, 226 for Vice President Harris, who, as President of the Senate, presided.
This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States.
The certification was interrupted 4 years ago today by protesters storming the Capitol. Today's certification uneventful, and none of the state's results were challenged. Canada needs a new leader. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepping aside.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
The Canadian parliamentary election is expected in the spring. President Biden is en route to New Orleans to meet with some of the people who lost loved ones in the New Year's terror attack.
To the families, he will offer sympathy on behalf of the United States, but that's not the only reason that he is going down, because for the next 2 weeks exactly, he is still in charge of the national security apparatus.
Fox's Peter Ducey. The FBI is still trying to learn how and when an Army veteran, Shamsuddin Jabbar, became radicalized. The president has issued an executive order to ban oil and gas drilling permanently in 625 million acres of federal waters. Incoming White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt says it's political revenge.
This is the radical left environmental extremists in his administration who don't care about what's in the best interest of the American people who just reelected President Trump with a resounding mandate to drill, baby, drill.
The president-elect says he'll reverse that order, but that may take congressional action. America is listening to Fox News.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a bundle up Monday afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, a few wandering snow flurries. Windy and cold, 25. The wind chills feels like the single numbers all afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. The winds quickly go light and the temperatures tumble. Very cold, 8 degrees. Tuesday, sunny, light winds and cold, 25. 6 Tuesday night, 22 and sunny on Wednesday, 29 and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-230-9333. 314-230-9333. That's 314-230-9333.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 5.25% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
When the weather is the story is on 97.1. With live local updates and up-to-date forecasts from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Your local source for what's important. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. We're glad you're here. Thank you for sharing some of your snowy St. Louis afternoon with us, or wherever you're listening. Chances are you've got some snow, or at least had some weather. We're glad to be here. It was a rough drive coming in today. We all came in at different times, and I thought, you had said this a little bit earlier, Ryan, but there's kind of some strategery to timing it correctly. And I said to my husband yesterday, okay, so when is the forecast saying this going to stop? I think the last number I heard him say was maybe 4 a.m., but then he goes, but maybe there's another shot between 8 and 9 or something like that was going to come. And I just thought to myself, I want to wait until the weather is done weathering. Some people have had the opportunity to drive on the roads. Because the other philosophy is to do like what Brad did, which is say, let me just leave early and try to get here early. And if it's okay, then I just show up super early. If it's not okay, I don't have to feel like I'm in a super rush. But when I was driving in between, let's see, I started to leave my garage at about probably 10:20 a.m. and I probably left my driveway at about 10 to 11. And I got here at about 11:30. So I think I probably spent about an hour on the road. Not quite.
My drive was about a half hour because I live on a big hill, so I can't go down that hill.
You know, honestly, I was texting you earlier to see what your schedule was like this morning. I was going to offer to come get you, but I was like, gosh, if I go get him, I was going to have to come in on the top of the bluff, and then I was going to leave.
And that's what we do.
Because the hill by your house.
Yeah, it's like the bluffs.
Yeah.
Like that's...
You're on the bluff.
The
right
biggest,
on the top of it.
Yeah, and so we have to go kind of through town whenever it's like this, but it's no big deal. We just know that we're going to do that. The one nice thing is, though, that everybody knows that that's a big hill because you can see it from around. Like, that's that street that goes right up that hill. So everybody knows that street is a big deal. So they salt it. It actually ends up being one of the better streets, but you don't want to take the chance because if you do happen to hit a spot, man, you're gone. There's no way. You're not recovering. Where was the worst part? You're in town in Collinsville, then you're on the highway, then you're in downtown. The weird thing is everybody says, it's always the toughest to get out of your driveway, and then you get on the main roads, it gets better and better. That was mostly true until we got to Tucker. Coming off of the Stan Musial Bridge from Illinois into Missouri, this is Tucker. This is one of the main, this might be the main road in downtown St. Louis. I mean, you take...
As far as going north-south.
It's got to be, it's the main road. And once you got down a little bit further south, it was okay. It looked like everything else. But where you get onto Tucker from 70 was like, have they sent a plow out at all?
No, there was 8 inches of snow piled up on the lanes.
And I can't figure out why, because it was for multiple blocks. It was like whoever had that contract just didn't show up.
The road right by, it's probably, I think, Cole in Tucker. So you get past, coming into downtown, you get past the McDonald's off the Stan Musial Bridge, the Stan Span as I call it. The next stoplight is Cole Street. And there was a car that had tried to turn west in that intersection and couldn't make it and was trying to do the Rockaway.
Oh, man.
In and out. And we had a green light going south. And I'm like, I want to keep, because you kind of have to keep going.
I went through some reds because I slow down a little bit to look and make sure nobody's coming
it's
from
each
each
like
side.
A normal day in St. Louis.
Yeah, but you had to have momentum to get through some of these
because they hadn't been
stoplights because they were uncleared. And I'm looking at, so I'm looking at this going, gosh, it's like 10:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't the early morning. They've had plenty of time. And then you get a little further and it's much more plowed. I'm looking at side streets up there. And again, I don't know if this is like one driver didn't show up or the city just didn't take care of it. I don't know. But some of the side streets that weren't, major ones downtown, they had not been touched. So if you live anywhere in that area, you were completely stuck. My little suburb, I don't expect Collinsville to do a ton. They've got several trucks and they do a good job. But I live on such a little side road that I don't expect much. And they had me, pretty well taken care of. If you live in downtown St. Louis, the population center, you were stuck.
I saw people getting out of parking garages because the parking garages are part of some of these buildings downtown. So you drive past and you don't realize that, the first 3 floors of that building are actually just parking. There were people trying to leave parking garages, couldn't get out.
No. Because
that terrifies me.
The arms, Brad had to deal with this. Yeah. The arm of the
garage,
gate or whatever was just frozen.
Yeah.
And so you could scan in. It wasn't going to move for you.
Yeah, I made that journey in from O'Fallon, and for me, the township maintained roads were great. My street was bad, but it's not a snow route. But once I hit the snow routes, those were all good. Then I hit the highway, not so much, and then downtown St. Louis. But I pulled in here, and I scanned my card, and the arm just didn't do anything. It's like it beeped. I know it beeped.
I like the solution was, why don't we just take it off?
Well, here's Scooter's comment. He says, everybody complains about the size of government until they need a snowplow. How about we pay to get these roads plowed and they're not going well? What if we privatize snow plowing?
I'm down with that.
I think that's already partially true. They do privatize
I just
it.
think that what you're saying is that we need to spend more on government. I'm saying maybe we should spend less because they're not doing a great job.
Yeah. This is a great example of how the government isn't doing a good job.
They have enough snowplows.
Also, I will add, I don't know what it takes to plow roads. I don't know if it's a manpower or a woman power thing in Scooter's world situation to make sure that you effectively get this done. I'm just saying right now, the moral of my story is if you don't have to drive, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do. There are schools across the area being closed for tomorrow. And I think that they're really, to me, it's like, great idea, cancel school. I have no problem with canceling school. I have no problem with canceling school and giving kids actual snow days. I also have no problem with canceling schools. And if you have the apparatus to let kids e-learn so they don't have to tack a day on in May, I would much rather my kids have to do some sort of e-learning and not have to go to school on past Memorial Day, personal preference. But if we're canceling school, we should, from a workforce standpoint, you should be able to the majority of people should be able to work remotely. You should work remotely if you can work remotely, because there are people who can't work remotely who need to traverse these roads. The plows need to be able to get through, and it's much harder if there's a bunch of people on the road. So if you don't have to go out, I would still say, at least as of a couple hours ago, don't go out. Stay home, call yourself in a snow day, work from home, whatever it might be. If you can stay home and nobody dies because you didn't go into work that day, that's fine. For a minute, I thought about, gosh, do I need to figure out a situation for tomorrow? They often offer to put us up in hotel rooms so that we're closer to downtown. You'd still have to drive through downtown in order to do it. I don't want to stay.
It's like the worst part of it, too.
I don't want to stay in a hotel. I've got a studio in my basement, but I haven't used the studio in my basement in a really long time. And the truth of the matter is, we do a better show for you when I'm sitting in this chair in the studio. So to myself, I was like, nope, you're just going to go in. You're just going to have to go in. If something happens halfway there and you're like, this is not safe, I'll do something else. But, I need to go in. And I also know that there's going to be somebody here, if all three of us can't be here for whatever particular reason, there's still somebody who's going to have to come sit behind this board to make sure that it's watched.
Yeah, this is live radio.
Yeah. So if that person needs to be here, I should be here.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'd been off for 2 weeks.
Would you say that generally we care too much?
I don't know if I'd say we.
Because when I was talking about coming into work today,
I could say we in the sense that at least 2 out of 3 broadcasters in this room.
My wife said, you really could just broadcast from home tomorrow, like it's COVID times, And I said, this show's so much better, though, when we're together, and the people need us.
I know that you're being sarcastic, but it is also, at least the first part, true. I hope the people, if they don't need us, I hope they like to hang out with us. I hope that you're like, yay, Annie's back. The gang's all back together. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about this hour is, you take 2 weeks off of work. It's Christmas time, so the news slows down. The news didn't slow down. There was still a lot happening.
There's a lot going
on. Some of the things that cut through my vacation, and I was, again, I said this earlier, I was not afraid of the news. If a headline came up, I read the alert on it, or I tuned into Fox News from time to time and watched the news, mostly because I couldn't watch the Lion Guard anymore. It's just too much. Like, okay, I get it. The Matt Gaetz, he ends up getting his own TV show, and the report came out right before we left. That's done. Nobody cares.
No, I was really disappointed that the show, when I saw the show, that it was like a news show. I was hoping for like laugh in, like he was going to come out and be like.
The biggest thing that came out of that was that his makeup sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was disappointed.
Did you
too.
notice?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice he looked odd?
Yeah, I did.
Than usual.
I did. Only in screenshots.
Did he
on the
have
internet.
bottom teeth?
I didn't notice. Did he?
I don't know. I want to get him on the show. I want to talk to reporter Matt Gaetz, or host, or whatever he is. I'm not a reporter. He's not a reporter. I wanted to have him on the show. But I just thought it was interesting that right before we left, it's like, ooh, Matt Gaetz, ethics report, scary. And now it's like, what? What was
Well,
that?
I mean, yeah, that came out. I mean, the big story, Christmas week, the budget fight was still going on.
Well, I thought that the biggest thing that happened when I peeked into Twitter and had to do research, whoa, take me to the top, was the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy H-1B visa situation that I'm like, oh, we don't like Elon and Vivek right now? What? And I want to make sure that I am outspoken on this specifically. All Republicans are not going to agree on everything, and the fight needs to happen. The discussion needs to take place. We have not been in a position for that discussion to mean anything, but now it means a great deal. And Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, both, of course, they're bazillionaire, whatever, they've got a lot of things going underneath them. They've had a lot of success. They've had a lot of experience. They're in charge of, does he run anything? He doesn't have employees. He's not like Elon Musk is running a business.
I don't know anything about Vivek Ramaswamy's business.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know that he was very successful. I don't know if he's still doing
in
it.
Pharmaceuticals.
Was it?
Yeah.
Sketchy.
Yeah, I already don't like it.
But
well, except for all the ones I'm taking.
But the H-1B, yeah, I like some of them. Never
I like
mind.
those.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, though. These individuals have been outspoken mouthpieces for a particular movement, but I said this earlier, the rubber is starting to meet the road. This is going to be complicated. This is going to be difficult. We're going to see cuts be proposed that don't go through. We're going to see cuts that are made that are potentially going to affect your life. And the question is what happens after that. But we have to be able to have the conversation. The Democrats have been so successful at being like, ooh, scary. Don't even talk about that. If you talk about it, you're evil. So we don't talk about it. Now we're talking about it. When you see, you do not have to be on Elon Musk's side or Vivek Ramaswamy's side. You need to be on the side of what is good policy. And sometimes you're going to see people who are a part of your political party have ideas that you disagree with. That is American. That is okay. And the conversation, especially watching it unfold on X, where I can tweet something to Elon Musk, I can tweet something to Donald Trump. I can put information out there that becomes part of the discussion and potentially becomes part of a solution. You never know. You never know. But the conversation is taking place right now. And oh my goodness, don't get trapped up in the left's glee. The only place that they can savor the moment is when the Republicans fight over things. The Republicans are having these sorts of disagreements and fights because the outcomes of those conversations are actually going to implicate what happens next. And the Democrats, you know what they have? Popcorn in a seat of no effect on what actually comes out of these discussions. The only thing that they can benefit from is glee in watching us fight. The solution is not to not fight because the Democrats really like it when we fight about things. We better not fight. No, false, incorrect. You fight about policy and you fight hard for what you think is right and you fight hard for what you believe in and you go all out. And then you figure out in the House, what is the simple majority? And then it has to be persuasive enough, get past the filibuster to pass in the Senate with a greater majority. There's a system set up to filter these things through American representative government to get to the point where the president actually signs it, and they won't happen if the argument doesn't happen. And here's the most beautiful part of this. The arguments were always happening. The disagreements have always taken place, but now you are a part of them. Now they're out in the open where you get to have a say and you get to watch the sausage be made. And nobody likes to do that except for the fact when you have to eat it and it tastes terrible. It sucks. And you're like, how did we get to here? Now you know how we got to here, and now you get to have a say. Now you get to see that conversation take place out in the open because Elon Musk purchased Twitter and made it a place where people can have conservative ideas.
Any ideas?
Yes, but conservatives are the ones in the past that you
Right.
couldn't share places, and if you did, you got throttled to the point where it was like, what's the point? This is all sausage making. It's all ugly, and to think that it wasn't taking place before is very, very ignorant. These conversations have always been happening, but the people that are in the rooms, in the places, have kept you from that conversation to try to make sure that it looks like a polished turd when it gets to your front door or your table or your bank account or whatever it is that you need. They try to clean it up for you so that it's palatable, and it's not ever palatable, obviously. It's incumbent upon you, it's incumbent upon me to be a part of the conversation and to not get bent out of shape when two stalwarts or two factions of the Republican Party disagree on something. We are going to have incredibly difficult conversations in the next weeks, months, and of course years about what happens next in the United States of America, but we have been given the opportunity to have those, and under the First Amendment, you can speak and you can be wrong, you can speak and you can be right, but the ability to speak and be a part of the system that is there to serve you, God willing we get it back to that, is a beautiful thing. The one frustration I had about watching the Elon Musk H-1B fighting that was taking place on X, I was like, just keep having the conversation. Like, if the discussion ends up being like, well, are you pro-Elon or are you anti-Elon? I'm like, shut up. You're not even having the right fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fighting you with you on that. I'm going to fight about whatever the cause is. And I don't even know where I'm not opposed to people coming here, but when I see people like we're trying to import the best and the brightest to be gas station attendants, I'm like, there's probably an American who could do that job.
The nice thing is all that fighting, because you're going to have a whole bunch more. It's just, I mean, they're not even in office yet. So we're going to have a lot of these fights. Budget, for instance. When a budget fight becomes news, that's great because people are paying attention to the nation's budget. It's boring. But when there's friction, people go, I'm going to check this out. They're paying attention. That's great news.
It's not bad when we disagree with each other.
No.
We get to have these disagreements. The Democrats, as you know, they're like, oh, the Democrats always seem to have it all together, blah, blah, blah. That's because they don't involve their people in the process. You sign over your will and your way when you vote for Democrats in office because they're going to do what they're going to do to the detriment of the American people and apparently their own party. It's not going to be like that with the Republicans in power in the House and the Senate and in the presidency. But you have to be strong enough. You have to have the intestinal fortitude to watch it happen and stay the course and not freak out because it's a good thing. It isn't going to be publicly pretty, but it's not supposed to be. The outcome, however, will be beautiful. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Frey Show right around the corner. We did speak with the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, in the 12 o'clock hour. Great to have him on the show. That'll be on the podcast if it isn't already. We had a nice long conversation with Steve Moore, who's in Washington, D.C. right now, and Congressman Bob Onder in the 1 o'clock hour. For podcasts of the show, if you want to check them out, you can go to the Odyssey app. See them all there. Just find the Annie Frey Show on the Odyssey app. You can stream us live anytime. You can also go to anniefreyshow.com/podcast. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Retirement Advisory Group, you know Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, the group that is your team lead when it comes to preparing for retirement. I don't know what it's doing right now. I saw the stock market. It looked like it was headed in the correct direction today. I thought that was kind of interesting, but Lord knows what it's going to do by the end of the day or the end of the week or the end of the year when maybe you were hoping to get your retirement in. If you have an idea, but you don't know what the plan is, you need to understand that being in your late 50s and your 60s, retirement being around the corner, there are smart moves that you need to make now, maybe even make yesterday, that the Retirement Advisory Group can advise you on. Set up your own personal conversation with them and no cost, no obligation review of your retirement at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 and talk to them about what they can do to make sure your retirement is exactly on time. You'll be relieved when you finish that conversation. Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig, all at the Retirement Advisory Group, online at theretirementkey.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode? And if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime. Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Looking in your eyes, I see a paradise. This world that I found is too good to be true. Standing here beside you, want so much to give you this love in my heart that I'm feeling for you. Let them say we're crazy.
I love that line. I love the way she says. Is that she?
Yeah.
Let them say we're crazy. Crazy.
Here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that
Mannequin.
Jefferson Starship used to be Jefferson Airplane and they were a hippie band?
I didn't know it was Jefferson Starship. I thought it was just Starship.
Well, maybe eventually.
I just have a special, very ingrained memory of my youth of watching Mannequin over and over and over again.
Really?
And the part where the mannequin is on the like conveyor belt, because you know everybody has a conveyor belt that's supposed to chop up mannequins in famous bar. Like going back on that.
Oh, like a little conveyor belt with a guillotine on. It's like, we gotta chop these things up.
I mean, it's Bugs Bunny stuff.
Send them to the old plastic factory.
Have you seen Mannequin?
It's been forever.
Well, I saw it enough.
Okay.
It's a great love story. And is it Kim Cattrall? She was the older one in Sex and the City, was the mannequin.
Oh, really? I really don't remember. I think I'm thinking of today's special.
I remember today's special. Man, if I could go back and watch Captain Kangaroo, because didn't they do like little games?
I don't remember because I
breaks?
I didn't like Captain Kangaroo very much.
I don't know.
That or the letter people.
How long did you not have cable? Like, how long in your life? How old were you when you had more than, 5 or 6 options for TV?
I think we had cable almost my whole life.
What?
Yeah.
Not everybody can be wealthy like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like the one thing we're going to spring
Did you
for
have
cable.
like a satellite dish the size of your garage?
No,
in
we
your
just
house?
had cable, like regular cable. Probably mid-'80s is my guess. What?
Did you?
No, I didn't have cable or Prime Star or whatever it was, the first satellite thing we got.
DSS?
I didn't have that until I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely junior high at the earliest.
No. I'm getting a text. Hang on.
I don't. Is it from?
No, it's from my wife saying the kids have worked on the driveway for over an hour and they're not done yet.
Is she disappointed?
Here, text talk.
Does she want us to talk to him or something?
Keep going. Period.
I'm gonna tell you something very honest. When I was talking to, I think it was Michael Whatley, I asked a question. I almost said question mark at the end. I voice detect everything, and there's some things I got to do to slip back into the job here, and one of them is not to do my on-air radio show like it's talk to text.
That's funny.
How do you feel about the Republicans' ability to stick together? Question mark. It's bad.
That's the head of the RNC. That would have been great.
If I ever do that, I'm going to just sit and take my lumps, because if I ever say question mark on the air after asking a high-profile guest something, I should just leave.
I think you should start accentuating all of your sentences by punctuating them.
Just like give the extra emphasis
Yeah.
to exclamation point.
And you know what America needs? Question mark. It needs more DJT and the people like him, period.
DJ Tanner?
Yeah, DJ Tanner.
Yeah, she's good. I like her.
That's what I was saying.
Candace Cameron
Yeah.
Bure. If she's in it, I let my kids watch it.
Oh, yeah?
That's a true story. Because there's so much stuff out there right now that's got all these alternate storylines. This is one of the things I'm most hopeful of potentially changing. I want to know that this. There's one thing about storylines reflecting people who are not like me or not like my kids. I'm okay with the inclusion of anybody and their walk of life, but if you're sneaking in very alternative cultural messages into something that would innocuously lead the parent to believe that, oh, I thought you were talking about saving the stray lion in Lion Guard to get it back to the savannah. I'm making up a story here. I don't have a problem with Lion Guard, obviously. Well, I do. It's just not that kind of problem. When they're trying to sneak things in, I think that makes a big deal. You shouldn't do that. You should be upfront with it. People should know. And there's no, it's expected that these people who work in these platforms, Disney absolutely included, feel as though it's their moral responsibility to teach your kids what you're not teaching them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be so diligent. And Candace Cameron Bure, I was watching, I don't watch Christmas movies, Hallmark, the like. I don't participate in any of that by choice ever. But she's in a ton of them. And she was talking about how on her podcast, she was saying something to the effect of, if she is in a movie and it says follow your heart, she changes the line.
No kidding.
Because she says, you're not supposed to, God tells us not to follow our heart. God tells us to follow him, follow Jesus. And follow your heart is actually, and this might be kind of a deep dive here, but the advice to follow your heart is not really sound advice, because your heart will lead you astray regularly.
That's scriptural.
Correct.
Your heart is the heart is deceptive above all.
And Candace Cameron Bure is in all these Christmas movies that are not like, they're not Christian movies per se, but she is a Christian who is in them, and she sees that and says, I want to say the same thing to convey the thing that is intended here, because I think she even says something to the effect of like, I know that they're not saying like, don't follow God, follow your heart, and she's like, I know that's not what's happening, but there's a better way to do it. And when she said that, I thought to myself, if she's in it, I trust her.
So anything with Candace Cameron Bure, you're like, you can watch that. I feel the same thing about Pavel Bure.
I thought you were going to say John
my
Stamos.
kids.
That's
No.
a deep cut, Ryan.
No.
I have no idea what he's talking
He's
about.
talking about a hockey player.
If my
from
kids
the
are going to
90s.
watch new hockey games, I'm like, But
Is
if
that
they
her
watch
husband?
old 90s hockey
that her
games
husband?
with Vancouver in them, I'll let them watch
Is that her husband?
No. Valerie Bure is her husband. Pavel Bure.
Why do you know? Did you Google this?
No, it's just well known if you're a hockey fan.
People know.
Are you a hockey fan?
I was then.
I was going to say, there's a lot of new things happening right now.
I had a Pavel Bure jersey when I was in high school.
Really?
I did. Yeah, Vancouver Canucks jersey.
When Christmas break is happening, we talked a little bit about some of the stories that bubbled up over then. I know you guys have done a few shows before since I've been out. But of course, another one of the stories that I paid a lot of attention to was the New Orleans attack, which was absolutely tragic. Odyssey, New York, lost an account executive. One of the people who was killed in the New Orleans attack worked for Odyssey in New York, and it just makes it a little bit closer to home. I didn't know the person who died in that attack, but you find out that it does come a little bit more into your realm than it could have been before that news. And then, of course, the Cybertruck blowing up outside of a Trump Tower and all of the different off-ramps that story has taken since that occurred the day after. Well, I guess it was technically the same day. It kind of goes into our YouTube live chat poll for today. Grade your expectations for 2025. A, B/C, D, or F, our standard grading scale when we ask these questions. And the reason why I only have 4 options in a YouTube poll, but B/C is basically saying I'm not ready to give you an A, but you're still passing. And same thing with splitting D and F. Like, you can fail or you can be close to failing. So that's why we divide them up that way. I'm incredibly hopeful. My expectations for 2025 are as high as they could possibly get. And I wouldn't consider myself to be an optimistic person. I consider myself to be a very realistic person, which I'm told is what pessimists say. But I don't want to look at it that way. I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
I'm going to hold up this Scooter's cup, and you're going to go, that glass is half full, Ryan.
It's about 40% full.
Well, that was much more realistic, but that's just kind of person you are, is what I'm trying to say.
I want to go straight to the truth. I mean, my expectations for 2025, I'm going to say A, but I'm also concerned about at what cost the success is going to come with, and the repercussions of the absolutely horrific policy that we've seen through the Biden 4 years. When your policy is based on a general disgust for what we are as a country, what we've been as a country, when your policy is based on righting the wrong of America pretty much every time you turn around, there's a lot of consequences to that. People are very quick, if it hasn't already happened, to remind us that the New Orleans Jabbar, was that his last name?
Mm-hmm.
That he's an American-born citizen. He served in the military, so on and so forth. He was radicalized by a groupthink that exists outside of the borders, but is here now. And when you work to diminish and demoralize who we are as a country, and I say that over what we are as a country, you really give safe harbor to people to think in ways that aren't as extreme as like, oh, he was influenced by ISIS. Isn't that the Overton window? Like, you shift it so far that what you feel is, well, they hate America because America is really a broken place. And America has not been good to a lot of the people who've been in this country, and America has a lot to atone for. There is no single thing in that mentality. There's no single thing that could happen that would appease the people who think that America is morally bankrupt and irredeemable. That lost in November 2024. That mentality lost, and it lost resoundingly in the November election. So much so that I said this earlier when we were speaking with Chairman Whatley in the 12 o'clock hour. When you watch, well, I'll just speak for myself. When I watched Kamala Harris preside over the certification of the election results, people are like, I don't think there's going to be any problem with this time, and I think this is going to go pretty smoothly. It wasn't even close. There's no ground for Kamala Harris to stand on. She got beat, and I will say, out of respect for her, she came, she did her job, and she got it done. The certification is over. The results of the election are certified. But she presided over a party that tried to profit off demoralizing what it means to be America. And the other side was literally, make America great again. Our policy is America first. There is pride in that. And it is back in the center stage of what's going to happen in this country once again. But we will reap what we've sown in the last 4 years of bad, bad, bad policy that is really based on some sort of globalist mentality that is to diminish America so that it is, how dare you say America first? How dare you prioritize? Do you think you're better than other people? Well, you're gosh darn right. I think that America is better than other countries in this world. And we have a responsibility to use the greatness of our country to benefit us in a way that can bless others. But that's the order of things. That's the natural order of things. If you want to diminish the country, more of the same of the last 4 years. But Americans said no. It is nerve-wracking to look left, right, up, down, and see that we have threats facing us much closer to home than you're used to seeing them. I'm very excited. Is Jim Carafano on with us tomorrow, as far as you know?
As far as I know, yeah.
No canceling. I'm very excited to talk to him. Post these. Have you had him on since? Did you talk to him once, Ryan?
I think we talked to Hans, but we did not talk to him.
You didn't talk to him since the attacks?
No.
I'm always sensitive to me being out, and I do realize that the show will go on when I'm not here. I don't want to repeat conversations, but Jim Carafano is in the front row of what has been going on and telling us what's brewing in our country. So I'll be very excited to talk to him tomorrow at 1:05 about what we need to stay abreast of here locally, the safety and security moving about the country, our country. My country, your country. My expectations for 2025, highest they've ever been in my lifetime. But unfortunately, the distance between where my expectations were before the election and where they are now, a dramatic distance between those expectations in a Biden America, Kamala Harris America, and where we are now in a Donald Trump America, the distance is greatly enhanced by how not great it was with the other guys in charge. Let's find out what Brad and Ryan think when we come back. And any other stories that I might have missed that I haven't weighed in on. We'd love to hear from you. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote in the poll today and tell us what you think, your grade. Vicky said D, at least until Trump is inaugurated. Well, Vicky, there's a whole lot of year, God willing, after the inauguration of Donald Trump. Kurt says B, it's going to take time to right the ship. I think that's a good assessment. Kate says, I'm going with an A, starting out positive. And Todd said, I'm going to turn my D 2024 into a high A in 2025. What do you think? Annie Fry YouTube channel, go vote, leave a comment. We'll be right back with the results at the end of the next segment. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process process ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Your voice can be key to changing lives. That's why the American Cancer Society is calling on Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society and backed by more than 70 years of trusted cancer research studies and breakthroughs. The Voices of Black Women study is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other conditions impact Black women. It's a commitment to partnering with Black women to better understand their lived experiences. Learn more at voices.cancer.org.
You've heard us talking about it. We want to know what you think. It's the YouTube live chat poll. Grade your expectations for 2025. A, B, C, D, F are your choices. You find that poll by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. And then, of course, leave a comment. We're talking about that right now. In fact, in the coming segment, we'll be concluding it and giving you the results of that poll. 247. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
They make music like this anymore, but Bruno Mars kind of does. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, at least genre. I guess so.
Is this funk?
I don't know if this is...
No.
This is,
I don't think so.
Is this Motown?
Rubber Band Man. It's just so good.
Motown.
It's a really weird song. You know, he talks about him playing the rubber band with his toes.
I've never really listened that close to lyrics.
Well, one time I used to play this for my son's baseball team a lot. Somebody might have used it for a walk-up song or whatever. But I'm like, at one point I was listening, I'm like, what is this song about? And I went and read the lyrics, and I'm like, that's kind of gross.
What is it about? Just a guy playing the rubber band with his toes?
I think he's got it hooked up in, like, I'm assuming it's a long rubber band, but like hooked up on his toes, and he's ba-doop.
So is that what the it's supposed to be a rubber band?
Rubber band. Ish.
Seems like...
I don't know. I've already thought more about it than probably anybody else ever has.
Seems like a really good VH1 Behind the Music where they sit down for an hour and like, tell us your inspiration.
I love the song, so I haven't let go of it, but all I can think about is that man's feet. And his toes. I'm sure they're well manicured.
I wouldn't know. It's such a weird...
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
The weirdest thing that happened in the whole show is you being like, you know the guy that sings this song? I bet his feet are really well manicured.
That puts me in a category of people that I do not belong in, I would add.
It lets you accept the song for what it is. Because if they weren't well manicured, you'd be like, I can't listen to this.
Grade your expectations for 2025. Hopefully we haven't just lowered your expectations of the show. You can grade it A, B/C, D, or F in about 5 minutes. We're going to read those results for you. These polls are always carried out on the Annie Fry YouTube live broadcast. So you go to Annie Fry, Frey, on YouTube. Watch the show live if you so choose, but you can vote in the live chat of the video. That's why I call it the live chat poll. Expectations for 2025. Brad, why don't you go first? A, B/C, D, or F?
I'm giving it an A. I usually like to underpromise and hopefully overdeliver, but... let's do this. I mean, we watched, I think I said this to Ryan, whenever they were picking the House Speaker, I was like, wouldn't it be great if they just pulled the rug out from everybody and elected him on the first round? And that's actually what kind of happened. I know some people had to switch their votes, but before they gavelled the first vote, Mike Johnson was the Speaker of the House. It seems like everybody's on board and rowing in the same direction, and I think that bodes well for the future of the country and for the Republican Party.
I think maybe it was my conversation with Congressman Onder at 125. It might have been the RNC chair, Michael Whatley, in 1225. But there was drama around it for nerds like us. But listen, folks, people weren't paying attention to that at that point. And if you didn't pay attention to that 2 hours of news, Speaker Mike Johnson is still Speaker Mike Johnson. You get back to work and you're like, all right, let's see what they're doing. He's still a speaker, drama-free.
You know what's fun? We got to cover that semi-drama.
I was excited that you guys were both in here while that was
2-3
happening.
hours on Friday right here. Like, we got to come on a little early and do it, and it was fun.
His Speaker Johnson's speech was great. He spoke after that. He read Thomas Jefferson's daily prayer, which I thought was awesome. But then I was also like super excited because he kind of hit the post too, so we were able to get out. It was like a segment.
Nerd.
It was great.
He did it for our time.
I'll just, to add on to what I was saying about how much people paid attention in that moment. I mean, one of the reasons why you need to have it in 97.1 FM Talk is because we're covering these things live, and you guys are here to be able to do that for people who are tuned in. But for the people I was paying attention to the vote. I was watching it, the votes on Fox News. I was more watching. I was doing other things around the house to try to get the house back in order. So I was watching the count.
Yeah, give me the updates.
And that was pretty much it. But
that's what we were doing too.
When he got it, I had to go on, and I had kids, putting them through watching that is not exactly what the children want to be paying attention to. So I didn't even watch the Mike Johnson speech or the Hakeem Jeffries speech when Michael Whatley who said today that, Hakeem Jeffries said that the Democrats are going to work with Republicans to secure the border. I didn't know that. That didn't break through in my world, and I was quasi paying attention.
And I don't know how much we talked about it, but Mike Johnson, we aired the speech, so he talked about it. He said during the speech, and it looked like a kind of off-the-cuff moment, too, because he's got his prepared remarks. But he starts talking, and he goes, we're going to do this to the border. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, we will take you up on that offer to help with this. Glad you said that, So it was a little bit of a surprise that Hakeem Jeffries would put that in his speech.
So what's your grade? If for coming into 2025, you're usually the optimist in this room, and we're both A's. So
yeah, this is kind of weird. It's a role reversal because I'm a BC. I'm actually tempering my expectations going into this year simply because I think the roots of what Trump and company are going to have to dig out are so dang deep that it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be difficult to watch because, man, it's going to get messy, or he's going to start digging and he's going to get pushed back like he did before. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be tough. So I'm just tempering my expectations saying BC.
I think that the reason why I'm so confident in being able to say A for myself is because I want to make sure that the people who are out there, Republican, who have access to really getting things done, that we have high hopes and high expectations. And if you do not meet them, it will be a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not traditionally like this. I usually am like, that's going to be, we're going to ask for 100% of what we want. And if we get 30%, that's really how you should be happy. Even like in baseball, if you're batting 300, people are watching you and cheering for you. That's probably realistically the way it is going to go. But I'm not going to let anybody think that I'm satisfied with that 30%. We need to go as hard as we can right now with righting the ship, no pun intended, to make sure that we do exact the type of outcome that we wanted to see, why we sent Republicans in all three areas here to get stuff done. We need to put high pressure on them because we do have high hopes, and we should. We have the right to have these expectations, and they need to know that they have the responsibility to meet them. And when they fall short, shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll be among the stars or some bull crap like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And never more eloquent.
That's good to be back.
Shoot for the shoot at the sky. You might hit something. I don't know.
That's like also
at least your bullet will be up there.
Legal advice for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
Scooter said, as far as the economy goes, Biden's numbers are solid. President Trump has his work cut out for him. He's dialed back expectations and anticipation. I don't think so. Maybe B/C is a smart bet. Shelley said, I voted B/C because it will get better. It will just take time. And Janine said, I voted A because I want to be optimistic about our future. Go
me.
Got me something to
a new job.
I should have.
Congratulations on your new job.
Go USA, back to common sense. I agree. Listen, folks, there are not many opportunities to look at government and be optimistic. Don't miss the opportunity to be optimistic here on this one. the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. 223 votes. Your expectation grade for 2025, 3% said D, 2% said F, 41% say A, and 53% said B/C. So my quick math is 94% of voters today have said passing grade, if not better. We are so glad to be back. I am so glad to be back. Thank you for being here. AnnieFryShow.com for anything that you missed, but keep it here on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Reardon, next.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
When someone hears the words, "You have cancer," it's one of the darkest moments in their life. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer by uniting survivors, patients, and supporters in the cause to end cancer. Friends, families, and coworkers form a community of hope, raising funds in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Together, we walk with lanterns held high to light the path to cures. Last year alone, the FDA approved 18 new drug therapies and treatments to treat blood